The biggest obstacle in your life today could be one of the smallest words in our language. So many times we blame everyone and everything else for our situation, when the problem is this little two-letter word. Pound for pound, it's one of the most powerful and limiting words we can say. What is that word? If. I'll really get my life together if fill in the blank. How often this word stands in the way of us moving forward in life. How often we procrastinate by waiting for the perfect conditions to begin living life to the fullest. Everything you need to fulfill your goals is already inside you. You only need to see your boundless potential and the journey is underway. Today, don't pause your dreams waiting for the right conditions. Success meets you where you step, not where you stand. Take that first step and watch your path illuminate before you. Live your life without the if.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, assalamu alaikum, namaskar, wherever you are. This is your friend Dr. Faz. Again this year, 2023. 2023 New Global Summit with all the greatest speakers around the world. I would like to thank all of them to join me this morning, which is because we are at the noontime in USA. I know you guys have evening or afternoon, but wherever you are, like I said. So thanks for joining us. And today we have the topic, Think Like a Champion. If you would like to be a winner, you would like to be successful, you would like to be a champion, this is the time and this is the place where you have to be. We have all greatest speakers, thought leaders from different part of the world who are going to share their wisdom and knowledge with us. Please be ready with your copies and pens and whatever the papers, or try to take the notes as many as you can. This is a great opportunity, and today we are going to have this show hosted by none other than my best friend, my brother, and my partner, all the way from Canada. He's a professional anchor, he's an international speaker, he's a coach, and he is a trainer. Please help me welcome my buddy, my friend, Mr. Rizwan Rashid. Thank you, Rizwan, for joining us.
Good morning, and thank you so much, Dr. Faz. I'm very excited to be with you and with all of amazing audience and marvelous speakers around the world talking about a champion. Are you the champion? Are you want to be a champion? You think like a champion, you act like a champion, and you deserve to be the champion. You are not here to survive. You are here to thrive, going to the next level of your life in order to achieve something amazing. And I promise you, this session will be a giant step in the path of your successful life and career. This session is full of enthusiasm for passion, innovation, and discovery. Each of the speaker from the world class, bringing to you and exploring a sense of wonder, the specialness of each day for reaching your authentic best of living in the present and taking responsibility of your own fate and pursuing an unrestricted life. True success is freedom, my friends, which means finding your own path, setting your own standard, choosing your own purpose, enjoying what you do, and sharing that conviction no matter what it happens to be is a motive to think like a champion. And you are, and you will be, and you will deserve to be a champion and thinking as a champion. We're going to have a huge lineup talking about it, discussing, and where we are in terms of champion. I have a full roster of people from a different wide area, from the world with different experience, with the audience who can think like a champion, who have been in different parts of life and have experience and the next level of understanding what is a champion mindset, and they will be sharing with you. And today, our best and first speaker is somebody I really know and inspire and envy the energy and her passion to live an amazing life. I want to take a quick pause because there was a little bit technical difficulties in our live streaming, but I wanted to ask Foz quickly. Is Olga Gaydens is in the room?
I think she is here.
Okay, wonderful.
But the camera is off so far. I don't know if she has a
Okay.
problem.
All right. Let me give her a short introduction of Olga. Olga Gaydens is a motivational speaker, transformational mindset coach for high-performing achievers, best-selling author, and team member of the Virtual Speaker Association International. She is a former regional president for Professional Speaking Association in the UK. She's highly engaging, courageous, and thought-provoking. And yet she was born in a tiny village in Latvia and now living in the last 13 years in UK. But now, these days, I kind of envy her living her dream life, traveling around the world full-time while making an impact through her powerful work in coaching, speaking, and engaging people. And today, she is landing right here on your screen, all the way from her country is Amsterdam, Netherlands. Please welcome Olga Gaydens. Olga. All right. We are just waiting for Olga to join. Okay. Dr. Faz, I think Olga was in this room.
She is in the room, but her camera is off somehow. Let me. Yeah, somehow she is with only audio. I don't know why, because she has a problem. Anyway, we can skip to our next speaker, Jim, and in the meantime, let's see if we can
It
take
looked
care
like
of that.
the room is full, so she can't join. So we have to take somebody out of the room and let
There
her
are only
in.
10 people. Okay, let me turn on. I took off Sajjad.
Okay.
Let me see. Okay. All right, so I have right now, let's see if she can, because I have 10 people, not more than that, but still I took off Azerbaijan. Just for a moment. Here we go.
All right. Here you go. My beautiful friend from all the way from Amsterdam, as I was saying, she is, living her dream life, traveling all around the world and inspiring. And I envy her all the travel around the world. She is Olga Gaydens on your screen, ladies and gentlemen. Over to you, Olga.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And it is such a pleasure being here. My apologies about the issues, but yes, the room was full. And guess what? I could have panicked. I could have thought to myself, my God, what's going to happen? But we are here to learn how can we think like a champion, right? So what I was thinking that it's going to work out. It will always work out because that is the thinking of the champion. Life will test you. Other people will test you. Circumstances will test you. But it's always and always up to us to keep our head up, to have the champion pose, to keep the champion shoulders all the way back, and to know the things are always working out for us. So how can we think like a champion? And I think, by the way, my friend, this is a beautiful, absolutely beautiful topic and a name for this global summit. Everybody from around the world should join, should share this summit, because many people will really be able to transform their lives as a result of being at this summit. So 3 things I will introduce you to when it comes to thinking like a champion. First thing is your body and your mind are connected. Once more, your body and your mind are connected. You cannot think like a champion if you don't feel like a champion. What does it mean? That means you every day, no matter in what situation, it could be like me right now, doing my best, joining this summit, and couldn't just because room was full. It's easy to slouch. It's easy to start stressing around. It's easy to start sweating because you're panicking. But if you stand tall and you are calm and you trust things will work out, you will give this signal through your body to your mind that you are like a champion, that you are calm like a champion, that you are faithful to what you got to do, just like champions are. Champions never look down. They always look up. Champions never worry. They know that they will do their best no matter of what. Think of boxers. Think of those who are champions. They always know at any point they will do their best. They will give their best. They'll breathe their best. They will look their best because this is who they are in their body and, of course, in their mind. Their mind is feeding their body and their body is feeding their mind. Second thing, my friends, it is about having positive triggers around you every day to surround you with positive triggers. What do I mean? Right now you're thinking, Olga, I can only think about offensive triggers. I can only think about bad stuff that trigger me and make me angry and frustrated. Well, my friend, that's the point. If you can think of negative triggers that take you all the way down from being a champion to thinking like a loser, you can come up with positive triggers. That could be anything. That could be a song. That could be you drinking a glass of water, and every time you drink a glass of water, you think to yourself, I'm a champion. I'm a champion. You just program yourself with something positive. It could be, look at this, red. My color is red. When I perform in 90% out of 100, I would normally wear red. Why? Because that's my champion outfit. Because that's my outfit. That's my favorite color. That's my brand color. Here I am telling you about my brand, right? But also that is something that positively triggers me and makes me feel like I am on the top of the mountain and I know I will rock it. So you got to come up with a positive trigger to yourself. As I said, it could be anything. If you can think to yourself into being a loser, into being negative, into being pessimistic because of some negative stuff happening around you, pick some positive ones, because those positive triggers will actually skyrocket you all the way to you being a champion. And the third thing out of 3 aspects on how can you think like a champion is repetition. Repetition. As simple as that. Think about it. If you have ever in your entire life have seen any ads on the television or on the radio, what happens? You hear to something twice and you get programmed. That's how quickly our brain operates. You hear something twice and you believe it's right. You hear something 3 times, 7 times, 17 times. This is it. You're brainwashed. So when it comes to you thinking like a champion, it's time to take over What do you repeat to yourself? Do you repeat to yourself, I'm such a loser. I will never get on this StreamYard and I will never be able to perform today. And oh my God, why it always happens to me? Yes, I could do that. But instead, it's going to work out. I have confidence into host of this conference. I have confidence in myself. And I have confidence in something you can't really have confidence technology because it can let you down. But I had confidence. So it's up to you. Will you tell yourself it's going to work out? Things always work out for me. Things always are easy for me. I always find best ways. I always find best solutions. I always champion. I always lead. I always win. I always do that. What are you going to tell yourself? That is a good question. You know when is the best time to practice your successful championship thinking? Best time is in the morning. And second best time is in the evening. So this evening, when you will go to bed and you'll be falling asleep, probably habitually thinking about what bill should I pay, whom should I call, oh, I was supposed to do this and I haven't done it. Stop yourself and say, stop. I'm the champion. And as a champion, I pick and choose what I will think about. And I pick and choose that tomorrow I'm going to have the best day in the morning. I'm going to have the best day during the day. I'm going to have the best evening. The overall day will be the best. I will do everything that's meant to happen tomorrow. Program yourself in the evening. And when you wake up, do the same thing. Think like a champion. Be the champion of your thoughts. Be the boss and the manager of your thoughts. And you know, there's a little trick which you can do, and I will leave you with that today. When you will go to sleep and when you will wake up in the morning, first thing you wake up or before you fall asleep, do this. Just tap on the tip of your fingers and just tell yourself, I'm the champion. I am phenomenal. I am the best. I am legendary. Things always work out for you. Whatever you want to happen in your life, just do this little tapping. It's just little NLP technique that actually makes sure that you have little neurons going all the way to your brain as you tap on your fingers, and they activate your brain. And actually, they help you to program yourself even more. So from today, you are the champion. You are the leader. You are the winner. You are the best at everything and anything you choose today. You choose every day. You choose forever because you, my friend, are in charge of your life. Remember that. So it is about your mind and your body. It is about making sure that you do repetition, and it is about picking your positive triggers. Next time, I'll see some of you in the red. I probably will think about this talk that you heard me. But for now, I'll leave you with this. Remember, you are the leader. You are the champion. So go ahead and champion your life. Thank you.
Boom, boom, boom. Olga, you nailed it. And you are that amazing speaker that took us on a ride that is going to go to the next level. When I was, listening to you, the BPR, the body, the mind, the positivity, and the repetition keep coming to me. And I love the fact that you have used the word always. And I was like, used mesmerized. Olga, you for your audience. Stick around. We are looking for any questions. We're going to come back and ask you. In the meantime, I'm going to ask our amazing another speaker who is also from one of my favorite organizations of the world, Toastmaster International. Toastmaster past president and international president, an author, keynote speaker, and experienced consultant with a demonstrated history in marketing, business development, and team leadership. He is doing skilled in business planning and analytics skills, and he's an amazing coach in sales and entrepreneurship. Please help me welcome Jim Kochki. Welcome. Jim. All right. We always hear you go.
Thank you, Coach Rizwan. Thank you, Dr. Faiz, thank you for the invitation to be with you today. It's a delight to be with my friends and so many people who are interested in becoming champions or becoming further champions. I must tell you, when Dr. Faiz contacted me and invited me to speak, I clarified. I said, well, what would you like me to speak on in regard to being a champion? And Dr. Faiz trusts my judgment. He says, anything related to the team, anything, which is welcome. But I must say it's almost too broad. It was a very broad area for me to make a selection from. But as I reflected on that, I thought it's perfect. It's just a perfect situation, because champions need to make choices. You need to make choices. Your options are unlimited. Our options are unlimited. But our time and energy is not unlimited. Our time and energy is not unlimited. So I'm going to take you through my model for saying yes to some opportunities and saying not at this time to some other opportunities, because we all need to manage our time and energy as we work through these situations. So my model is simply this. If I'm invited to take an opportunity, I do a couple of tests. One, do I really think the organization needs what I can bring to the table now? Secondly, is the organization prepared to work with me? Because quite frankly, some organizations can be a little bit unstable and a little bit dysfunctional. I might choose to get involved in that, but I want to be very careful on that. So those are the first two tests. Does the organization need what I can offer? Are they ready to work with me? And then the second test is will I benefit in some way? And that's typically not financial, but it's a chance for me to say, look, I'm going to be exposed to a new network of people. I'm going to exercise my skills in a different manner because of this organization. So those are the tests I go through. Does the organization need me now? Are they prepared to work with me? And will I benefit in some way? Will my skills grow? Will my network expand? Et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to take you through a couple of the choices I've made. And you can think about, and I'd invite you to think about your model. What are you going to say yes to? And what are you going to say not at this time, maybe at a later date? So I've told you my model, and I'll take you through two of the opportunities I said yes to. And I will speak about being Toastmasters International President. But first, I'm going to start with another organization, another opportunity that I was presented with to serve as board chair and president for a smaller group called L'Arche here in my city of St. John, New Brunswick. L'Arche is a French word for arc. It's an organization that's in about 40 countries around the world, and they do work with people with intellectual disabilities. And I make a point, they don't do work for people with intellectual disabilities. They do work with people with intellectual disabilities. It's an amazing, inclusive, supportive environment. So in my small town of St. John, New Brunswick, we've got a home where 5 people with intellectual disabilities live with 3 people who don't have intellectual disabilities. They share life together. They're preparing their garden now. They're mowing the lawn in the winter. They shovel the driveway. They cook together. They exercise together, skate and swim. They share life together. A very simple, respectful model, including people working with people with intellectual disabilities. We also run an art program in a beautiful street here in my city. It works 5 days a week, where people with intellectual disabilities and people without intellectual disabilities gather and they make art of their choosing. Paintings, sculptures, films, they make art together. So that's really about community. It wasn't intended to be a place where we would sell art, but we do end up selling art from it. So I tell you this because it's a background on the organization. And I was invited to the board by a friend of mine, a fellow past Toastmaster actually, who was board chair and president at the time. And he said, Jim, you've got expertise in public relations and marketing, and we really need some help for that. Would you join the board? So I went through my assessment. Do they need me? Clearly they did. Were they ready to work with me? Clearly they were. Would I benefit? Would I benefit in some way? And clearly it was a chance to exercise my skills with a great organization. So I got involved. My friend Don, the board chair, left after 2 years, and they I received some pressure to become board chair and president, and I did that. I was happy to do that. And I have some affinity for folks with intellectual disabilities. I had an aunt who had an intellectual disability, Karen, and about 20% of the population, about 20% of the population have got some sort of intellectual disability. So this touches people widely. So I was very pleased to get involved in L'Arche and help them in my town. And as it comes to champions, I look at the core members who were participating at L'Arche. And these are people with intellectual disabilities. We don't call them clients. They're core members of the organization. They're the reason why the organization exists. They're core members who have an intellectual disability. I look at them as champions. They're friendly. They want more friends. They're wonderful to connect to. They really understand the essence of what's important in life. What's important in life is relationships, and they're champions. So I give that to you as one example of an opportunity that I said yes to. There's others I've passed on, but that is one that I did say yes to. Second, I'll mention Toastmasters and serving as international president. I joined Toastmasters way back in 1987, and I continue today because public speaking is a skill. Skills need practice, and I want to practice every week. So I'm ready for big events. So I joined in 1987, was very slow to move through the organization, very slow, and because I'm always going through the assessment I told you about. When I'm offered an opportunity, does the organization need me? Are they ready to work with me? And will I benefit in some way? So that means I'm not too quick to move through some of these opportunities. But as international president, I had 3 key roles. Any international president for Toastmasters has these 3 key roles. One is to connect with members around the world and visit members around the world in 145 countries where Toastmasters has presence. I didn't visit all 145 countries, no one does, but we connect with some of them to make sure that we're doing a good job for them in Zimbabwe and South Africa and Vietnam and Australia and Korea, all over the world. So internal ambassador. Second role is to serve as an external ambassador to connect with companies who already have Toastmasters as part of their development program for their employees. So the employees can practice their communication in leadership skills in a tried and true environment that's been in existence for 100 years. So the biggest companies in the world have got Toastmasters as part of their development program for their employees. And the third role, of course, was to chair the board of directors and serve as international president. So that's really managing the board and the staff in a fashion, because it's a not-for-profit organization that does need to make a profit. But of course, nobody benefits in a major way by the profits that are earned. So it's important to run it effectively as a business, so bills can be paid, so employees can be paid, so investments can be made to further the organization. So those were the key roles as international president. So today the organization persists. Lots of champions in Toastmasters, and some members are merely social, and that's fine. People have a need for community, and some people come to the meetings and enjoy and participate in a social, in light fashion, I will say. But if you participate actively in Toastmaster, you become a champion. You really do become a champion. And I want to offer some stories today about some people who I've seen develop and come to major personal realizations and professional realizations as a function of being an active participant. So our development platform is called Pathways. Within the meetings, people work through projects and pathways. And there's 11 different paths around professional speaking, around presentation mastery, innovative planning, effective coaching, 11 wonderful developmental paths. So I want to tell you 4 stories that I've heard from people who have come to some major realizations. And first is a friend of mine. I saw him do a speech in one of my clubs, and he talked about working through the path on practicing his coaching skills. And he said one of the assignments was to talk to somebody outside of Toastmasters who he coaches on a regular basis and get feedback. So the gentleman said, "Oh, this is not a big deal. I'm a manager. I manage a group of people. I'll just talk to one of my employees about how effective I am as a coach." So he was very confident that he would get great feedback. And he sat down with his employee and said, "So how am I doing in coaching you?" And his employee's eyebrows rose and eyes got big. This employee thought, how do I say this? And he said, "Well, honestly not very good. I'm often confused about what you want me to accomplish on a regular basis and how I'm doing. I don't get a lot of performance feedback. So that conversation took place. And I'm proud that Toastmasters forced that conversation to take place, because if it had not happened, then my friend who delivered a speech would have been tapped on the shoulder someday by a senior manager and said, just not working out, is it? Good luck in your next assignment, but this is your last paycheck. So I'm delighted with that realization that the gentleman came through as a result of working through our projects. I'll mention a second example, a nurse that I met in Taiwan at a Toastmaster event. And she just came up to me one day and she said, at an event, she said, Jim, I love Pathways. She said, I've been a head nurse for 20 years and people have always thought I was bossy and pushy, and I've never understood why. And I did this project to understand my communication style, how I connect with people. She said, I've made some very small changes, but people are relating to me differently. So what a champion, what a realization. And it's fascinating because she's not exactly even sure what she's doing differently, but the process has caused her to get different reactions from people. I'll mention a third example, someone else I know who worked through that same project, understanding his communication style. He described how he went through that, and he said, I've realized that I'm a talker. I talk too much. I could have told him that. He's a good friend of mine, and he is a talker. And he said, yes, I'm a talker. I talk too much. And I learned as well that I don't want people talking to me. If you want me to get something done, you send me an email with 2 or 3 points and a due date, and I will get it done. So major realization, but it's got a funny twist because he then started a new job and he sat down with his new boss. He says, boss, here's something you should know about me. I'm a talker. I'm going to be in your office all the time. I might drive you a little bit crazy with how much I'm in your office and chatting. But look, if you want me to get something done, you just send me an email with the due date and the details, and I will get it done. And anybody who manages people knows that you would just love that level of awareness in any employee, and to be able to understand how to connect well with a person. So major realization. And the fourth example I'll give you is a funny one. I saw a lady give a speech in one of the clubs I attend, and she described how she had to do a project where she was invited to figure out, look, what are some things she thinks are outside her control, but to consider how she could control some of those elements. So she gave a speech. And she described how she worked in an office environment and she likes to get to work early and plan her day and plan her week. But there have been some new hires, some new employees, and some young people full of energy. And she said they'd come in early to the office, and she said, I'd be trying to do my work, to plan my day, and they'd be talking about what they did on the weekend or what they saw on TV last night or how somebody's doing on American Idol. She says, it drives me crazy. She said the worst of it is one of them's got a little gnome, a little elf, ceramic elf that he kept on his desk. And they would be talking about what he did on the weekend and laughing and joking around. She said, so I got really angry one day. I came in early and I stole the elf. And the room just went diddly quiet because we thought that was rather strange behavior. Then she continued. She said, so I worked through the project to figure out, can I control some of those elements that I think are outside of my control? And she said, I realized that, we've got some meeting rooms at our office, so I could start my day in those meeting rooms if I got permission from my boss. And she said, we're located very close to a library. I could start my day at the library and plan my day in peace and quiet. So she concluded and said, so that's what I do now. I just go to the library and I start my day and everything's good. And then she said, and good news, I gave back the elf, the little ceramic gnome. And I thought that was great because I thought it was going to end with body parts of the gnome ending up on someone's desk saying, will you people learn to be quiet? So I mentioned those are some examples of how people have worked through projects, become champions in many ways, and come to significant realizations that's helped them personally and professionally. So if you participate in events like this, events like Toastmasters, you will come to similar observations. So as we progress today, as I wrap up my speech, I want to note we've got several excellent speakers today, many excellent speakers, and some may define what a champion is. And I'm not going to do that, because I invite you to define what is a champion in your terms. As I mentioned, we've got unlimited opportunities. You've got unlimited opportunities, but we can't say yes to them all, because we'll be run ourselves too thin. We don't have unlimited time and energy. So make your determination. What's going to be your next step? Maybe you want to help an organization that helps people with intellectual disabilities or homelessness, or you want to do something around litter in your community, or poverty and hungry. Maybe you want to join Toastmasters and deliver your first speech at Toastmasters. So congratulations on taking this first step today on coming to this event. And I ask you to define for yourself what define you as a champion, and to start those first steps as you continue on your journey. Back to you, Coach.
Thank you so much. This is Jim Kokochi, and I love the fact of it as a Toastmaster. You're talking about the communication to be the front leader, and I love the fact that you were talking about it. Hey, you took the first step today. Your humble and honest and thought-provoking ideas was amazing. I was writing notes about how to be friendly, how to create relationship, and how to open up those relationship, and thinking as a champion, starting with your communication, starting to be here in this session and joining a Toastmaster, an amazing organization, which I am part of it. And you have led the Toastmaster internationally in several years. I love that. And thank you so much for your participation and giving us hope and guidance to lead us to next level as champion. Amazing. Thank you, Jim. And I'm going to move and fly over with a new thought-provoking speaker, who is the person who is military inspired, a leader, a time-conscious coach, and a global keynote and TEDx speaker. I call it a life transformation coach, because he has been making a real passionate difference in the life of many. He loves achieving and contributing to the outcome of focused result. A global keynote and TEDx speaker, and the first one to speak at the National Convention of Professional Speaker Association in India, and has served as a member on his board. Ladies and gentlemen, Brigadier Sushil Basin. Brigadier Sushil Basin at your audience. Thank you so much. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Coach Rizwan. Thank you very much for that introduction. And I really love the energy with which you are conducting this program. I'm so happy. So, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are, but the emphasis is on good. Hope you're having a great time. I'm going to begin with thanking Dr. Faz for very selectively, thoughtfully, deliberately selecting this title, Think Like a Champion. The focus is on think. And the way I see it, that the 6 inches above your shoulder is your thought factory. This is where thoughts are generated. And these are the thoughts which are your choice. Nobody can tell you how to think and how not to think. Your responses and your thoughts are absolutely under your control. And that is why I love the way Dr. Faz picked up this word, think like a champion. He didn't say act like a champion. He didn't say behave like a champion. He said think like a champion. So let me begin with a small story which made me think like a champion. It was way back in 1987. I was commanding a transport company of the Army Service Corps in Delhi. I had a couple of bosses there. There was a technical boss, there was an operational boss, and there were 2 higher bosses of both of them. So about 4 bosses I had to handle. And people know how you have to, if you have to handle 4 wives, how it is challenging. And so was it for me. Now, one of these technical bosses was posted out to army headquarters locally into another appointment, and the one who took over from him is the one I'm going to talk about. His name, he was then Brigadier IPS Dewan, and now retired as a lieutenant, as a Major General. I served under him for some time, and in 1993, when I was in Jodhpur, the general got posted to Pune and came for a visit to Jodhpur. Now, because we had known for each other for a long time, I could take some liberties with him, or I was a little more, he was more accessible to me. So while we were having a cup of tea in the inspection bungalow, I asked him, I said, sir, just tell me, one thing has always been worrying me, that it was only in the Delhi tenure that I became controversial. There were a lot of people who were against me. There was a lot of, talk going on that, people said this was not good, that was not good. Because you were my immediate boss and you were monitoring my performance, can you please give me some advice from your experience? Where did I go wrong? And you know what he said? He said, Sushil, you didn't go wrong anywhere except one, that you made a choice. You made a choice to be a champion. You made a choice to be outstanding. If you had made a choice of being a mediocre, you would have never been controversial. So now you have a choice. Either continue to be a champion and be prepared to face the flak. Be prepared that people will talk against you, because people don't like champions. And he said, choice is up to you. Whether you want to continue as a champion, which I'll advise that you must, and be prepared to face these people. Ladies and gentlemen, this was an awakening for me. And from that day onwards, my initial spirit of being a champion became stronger, became firmer, and I started believing that I am a champion. Now, when we are saying this, let's see what a champion really is. Who's a champion? So basically, a champion is someone who consistently performs at high levels and achieve their goals. They have outstanding results that they come out with. They are not just successful in one part of their life, but in multiple aspects of their lives. And they possess a combination of skills, habits, mindsets that set them apart from others and enable them to achieve their goals and become the best version of themselves. What sets a champion apart from others is their commitment to excellence and their willingness to work hard and consistently to achieve their goals. Another thing I'll tell you about champions. A champion focuses on competing with himself and not with others. He adapts for this a growth mindset which emphasizes self-improvement or self-development, and this means that they see their own progress and growth as a primary goal rather than outperforming others. Having said that, I was going through a number of things that I can talk to you of what makes a champion. But because of the time that I have, and also not to make it very long, I have decided to give you 5 keys today. 5 keys that make you think like a champion. First thing, all champions have goals, they have a vision, but the most important part of this is that they have clarity. They are not muddled with a lot of options. They narrow down their options. Normally you have options and you say narrow them down, and I call it 1 inch wide and 1 mile deep. When you have a goal, you have a purpose. If you narrow down to 1 or 2 of them or 3 of them, and then concentrate and focus on them and go deep down, 1 inch wide and 1 mile deep. That is the clarity which they have in the goals that they need to achieve. I'm also reminded that one day I asked my son, what phone should I buy? Because I wanted to buy a phone with a good camera. And he's a photographer and he's very good at gadgets. So I bought this phone, which he suggested, Note 10. And he said this is one of the best cameras in the market today. But when I started taking pictures, I realized that if he took a picture with the same camera, it was much better than what I did. And I was wondering, why does he do that? I said, I'm an army man. I shoot with the camera like I shot with my rifle. I stop my breath because that is what they said when you took the aim at a rifle. I said, I do all that and still my picture is not as clear as yours. And he said something. He said, Dad, when did you last clean the lens? I said, I never do it. He said, when your lens has a lot of dust on it, the pictures are bound to be blurred. It got me thinking, isn't it same for our own minds which are clogged with multiple thoughts? If we need to declutter those thoughts, only then can we become champions. We can have clarity. So the first of the 5 keys I told you is clarity of your vision, of your goals, and keep the unnecessary away, just like a sculptor does. A sculptor scrapes off all the unwanted part of the wood, and what comes beneath is a beautiful statue that he had visioned. So that is about vision, that's about clarity. The second key is self-belief. It is not some belief that you were born with. It is something that you develop. It's a learnable skill. You need to really build up your self-worth, your self-belief, your self-esteem. I was very fortunate to have been blessed with meeting Jack Canfield in 2007, soon after I left the army and became a trainer. And when I asked him that I want to do something for children in youth development and all that, he was very kind to go back to USA and send me a self-esteem manual. And that gave me a lot of insight into what self-belief is. And therefore, the second thing is, you are what you think you are. You are what you believe you are. And therefore, please see if you can pick up the nuances of building your self-esteem, building your self-worth, your self-belief. And the moment you do that, you are on your journey to be a champion. The third thing, ladies and gentlemen, I call this the mother tip of all self-development. The moment you set out on a journey of self-development, it is highly important, highly important that you acquire something called self-discipline. Now, what is self-discipline? I've read a few definitions of it, but I've coined up a definition which I find very practical. So please listen to me, and if need be, write it down. Self-discipline is doing what you ought to do even when you don't feel like doing it and when no one is watching you. That is self-discipline. If you are going to put on your seatbelt because you think that is required for your safety, you're self-disciplined. But if you do drive without a seatbelt, and the moment you see a traffic cop and you start putting on your seatbelt, that is out of fear of discipline and not self-discipline. So therefore, please build your self-discipline. When you sleep at night and you decide for yourself that you'll wake up at 6:30, and when the alarm goes, you use a very beautiful feature that every mobile phone company has given us, snooze. And you convince yourself that it's not time to get up, convince yourself that I can make up later, convince that I'll forget my cup of coffee, and try to convince yourself and sleep another half an hour. What have you lost? 30 minutes? Of course, you have lost the 30 minutes, but that's not the important part. The important part is that you've lost self-respect because you realize that you gave yourself permission not to obey yourself. You decided to get up at 7:30. Nobody else told you. Why didn't you say 7? Decide 7 and stick to 7. That is being self-disciplined. The next one, the fourth one. The fourth one is mental toughness. Now, a champion has to possess a high level of mental toughness that allows him to stay focused, motivated, and resilient in the face of any challenge or adversity. A couple of things there. In your mental toughness comes your being humble. Okay, sorry, that's the fifth one. There's the fifth one, the being humble. Now, what is being humble? Couple of things. One is that let your being a champion not go to your head, not display your behavior to show off and try and see that you portray yourself better than others. A good champion is humble. Humility is very important. He or she has a positive mindset. Champions maintain a mindset that is focused on solutions rather than problems and believe that they can overcome any obstacle that comes their way. They believe that their abilities can be developed through hard work, dedication, and persistence. These champions also embrace failure, embrace reality, embrace uncertainty. They treat failures like stepping stones to success. They treat these obstacles and hurdles as enablers and use those opportunities to move forward. Champions support and mentor others. They have the big heart not to get into competition, but help others to also become champions. They believe in collaboration. That is their key. They believe very strongly that you can't do it alone and together you can do anything. And the last thing I would like to say is that champions surround themselves in good company with positive people, with mentors, with coaches, with people who encourage them, people who inspire them. Proximity is power. If you are in the proximity of good people, you are bound to get their influence and imbibe that. So overall, thinking like a champion involves adopting a mindset and developing habits that support achieving goals, being resilient, and staying focused on your objectives. These attributes are essential for anyone looking to achieve success in their personal or professional life. So let me end with a beautiful poem by Walter D. Wintle. I will not say the whole poem, but a few lines which really make a difference. Quote, life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man, but soon or late, the man who wins is the man who thinks he can. Soon or late, the woman who wins is the woman she thinks she can. And I'll end by another 4 lines of the same poem. Think big and your deeds will grow. Think small and you will be left far behind. Think that you can and you will. It's all in the state of mind. It's all in the state of mind, which is your thought factory. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to me. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Sushil. It was wonderful. I'm often, inspired by spirituality, leadership, and deep thought, but was not quite sure how to implement these insights each day in an ongoing way. I'm always tendency to the self-obsessed, not necessarily in my best interest, but your 5 points was amazing. Clarity, self-belief, self-discipline, mental toughness, and humility is definitely is an eye-opener for me. And I was looking at it, probably one of your amazing book, and I encourage everyone to go look for your book, ladies in your life by Sushil. Amazing author for 6 books, and some of the books endorsed by Brian Tracy. Thank you so much, Sushil, for your wonderful points and amazing thoughts on becoming a champion. Now we're going to switch gear. I'm going to bring another speaker who is also going to think you like a champion. And Natalie Jones, Natalie Jane Thomas, lives on Isle of Wight. Amazing island and amazing right off the coast of UK. She's a mom of 2. Natalie's currently doing her public health degree apprenticeship. She's a member of her local government public in parish council, a very dedicated, passionate Toastmaster, belonging to several groups across the globe. Coming on your screens live, Natalie Jane Thomas with the topic, Think Like a Champion.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Today, I am going to be talking about a really special story that is really close to my heart, where I had to think about being a champion from the get-go. So it was back in 2016, where I absolutely hated the woman that stands before you right now. I was carrying so much excess baby weight from having my daughter back in 2015. And I was also trying to come to terms with losing my dad in 2015. Put it this way, my life now is nothing like it was back then. I'd come across this advert on Facebook, which spoke about walking 1,000 miles. I thought to myself, 1,000 miles? That's 2.6 miles a day. That is really, really easy. And me being somebody that likes to take risks, I sat there and I thought to myself, what do? I want something that is going to mentally push me to the absolute limit. So then popped into my head, do I walk 3,000 miles or do I walk 5,000 miles? You're probably thinking, nah, 5,000 miles? That sounds absolutely ridiculous. Put it this way, it was absolutely ridiculous. But I sat there and I thought, what is going to make a difference to me in that moment? So I decided I would do something bold. I would do something extraordinary. And I would go for the bigger target. So then I decided I'd go on trusty old Facebook and I would make this pledge to the world that I, Natalie Jane Thomas, will walk 5,000 miles in 2018. The minute I pressed send, I was like, rightio, I really need to think like a champion, because I've just shouted to the world, I'm going to do something. Now I've kind of got to go and do it. Going into January, the walking was fine. But then I stopped and I thought, nah, you've just said to the world you're going to walk 5,000 miles, but you've not done the maths. When I worked out that walking 5,000 miles in 365 days was the equivalent of a half marathon, oh my God, that self-doubt, that fear, the anxiety absolutely crippled my head. And I was in that scenario of, do I quit and completely give up? Or do I switch my mindset to thinking like a champion? Because the thing with my 5,000 mile challenge was I was raising money for 3 charities. And for me, that was really important, that I could stick to that goal of doing the best that I could. Because at the end of the day, back in 2016, I was an average mum working in a dementia care home. I had never done a marathon, let alone an ultra marathon, back to back for a year period. But all of a sudden, I basically turned around to the world and said, look at me, I'm going to go and do this. Once I changed my mindset into champion mode, I had that extra confidence that I would be able to succeed. Because put it this way, if you go onto Amazon and type in how to succeed doing the 5,000 mile walking challenge, you are not going to find any books. So I had to look within that year. I had to find the answers from inside me, because it was okay having people saying one thing, but for me to succeed, I had to believe in myself. I had to have that extra confidence to kind of go, no, Nat, you are going to succeed no matter how long it takes you. I'm going to move on to one of the challenges that I came across within the 5,000 mile walking year. So it was in the summer, and I had the opportunity of doing the biggest ultra marathon that I've ever done. So for the purpose of the global audience, the Isle of Wight is a little island just off the south coast. I'm 2.5 hours away from London. To get here, you've got to go on a ferry. And this ultra marathon was walking around the entire Isle of Wight non-stop. So that's around 70, 72 miles, depending on the route and coastal erosion, in 24 hours. You were probably thinking, how on earth can you do that? Put it this way, when I left Cows, I thought to myself, now how on earth are you going to go and do this? But I had to think like a champion in that moment. Midway round, walking around the island, I had to maintain that mindset, because I thought to myself, I've not walked all of this way round to not get to the end. I don't want to go home. And it was about 3/4 of the way round, probably around midnight, 1, 2 a.m, when the pain that I was feeling was absolutely incredible. I must have walked around 60 odd miles at that time. And by then, the negativity in my head was mind blowing, because sometimes when you put yourself through these really extreme scenarios, the brain can play absolute havoc. But I reminded myself of the why. Why had I decided to walk around the island in the first place? So I said to myself, no, Nat, you're not going to go home halfway around the island. You are going to get to the end if you have to walk like a snail. And put it this way, I walked like a snail for the last couple of miles because the pain was absolutely crazy. The minute I came into East Cows and I could see the finish, I was an absolute blubbering mess, because I was there thinking to myself, hang on a minute, a complete average parent from the Isle of Wight with no proper marathon experience has just walked around this entire island. But for me, I had to maintain that mindset of success. I had to maintain that mindset of, if it takes as long as it takes, you will get there. But now I am guessing you are probably thinking, did I actually succeed in my 5,000 mile challenge? Well, my friends, it was November the 6th, 2018. I woke up that morning and I'd only got 20-ish miles to walk. So I set out on most probably one of the most emotional walks that I have ever done. I walked around the coastline and I ended up just on the headland by the Needles. And the minute I took to Facebook and I said, I've done it, the average person, has just done the extraordinary. I have walked that 5,000th mile. It was like my Facebook had absolutely erupted. So friends, anybody can think like a champion. Because if you'd asked me back at the end of 2016, when I was embarking on the most extraordinary, somewhat ridiculous challenge that I embarked on through that year, you can do it. You've just got to have that self-belief. You've just got to have that confidence in yourself that you can do extraordinary things. Because if I hadn't believed in myself, if I hadn't believed like a champion, then who knows where I would have got that year. And finally, I was really successful in raising £900 for the 3 charities that I supported along the year. So there we are. That is my contribution to this really amazing global summit about how to think like a champion. Back to you, Coach.
Whoa. You know, Nally, I've been to Isle of Wight myself, and while you were talking about it, I can almost feel walking on the shoreline and thinking like a champion. Your amazing journey of 5,000 miles in 24/7 has really given us that goosebump, invoke and believe that successfully apply these, commitment and confidence and mindful ways. A genius is born, a genius who step on to consistent efforts and openness to the new ideas and taking on the new challenges is going to be the champion. Thank you so much. Amazing journey. I love what you are sharing with us. Amazing. Thank you so much, Natalie. And folks, I know you're all inspired. I know you're all looking to learn more, and you have gained a lot of experience so far. And now I want you to set it up for my next speaker, who is an amazing guy with the entrepreneur world, with the challenges of life, personally and professionally, but with the mindset of new millennial success. Yes, he's a professional speaker, an expert sales trainer, author, a writer. His book going more than millions. Successful investor who has been investing in financial services business for many years. He's also the owner of the marketing business that does business with 40% of NASCAR Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, the person whose mission is to educate and inspire people to discover and the life they are intended to live is the best fit for this summit. Think like a champion. Let me welcome my friend, Jerry Hall. Jerry Hall, over to you, my friend.
Thank you so very much for having me here today. I can't tell you how much I love this topic. It is so near and dear to my heart, and you'll see why here in a second. You know, when most people think of champions, we have a tendency to look at people like athletes like, say, Michael Jordan or Messi. In the entertainment industry, we'll look at people like Oprah Winfrey or Matthew McConaughey. In business, Jeff Bezos and maybe someone like Warren Hathaway or Warren Buffett. And what happens when we think of these people, because they've done so well in their lives, we have a tendency to think that maybe they were born this way. They're special. They're not like us. They were born with that maybe success chromosomes that most people don't have. But I want to tell you today that's not the case. What made these people incredibly successful in their own lives, we possess exactly the same thing ourselves. Those people, the only difference between them and most people is that they discovered and uncovered this ability to go out and become a champion, think like a champion. And I want to show you right now, illustrate to you with a story that how each and every one of us can go out there and become a champion in our own lives. About 7 years ago, there was this man, 23 years old, who wanted to accomplish a goal that no one, and I mean nobody, thought possible. Not even his parents. Nobody thought he had a chance, but he didn't care. You see, the reason why was that this 23-year-old man was deaf, and he was also autistic. And academically, he operated at a grade 1-2 level. So the things that we find very easy to do in our lives, for him were challenges. So when he stepped out and wanted to do something extraordinary, nobody believed he was able to do that. You see, this 23-year-old man started seeing his younger siblings get driver's licenses, buying cars, and he wanted to do the same thing himself. But you know what? His parents and the experts and the teachers, they knew it wasn't possible just on the limitations alone of passing the exam. But you know what was amazing? That this 23-year-old didn't care. He had a goal. He wanted to become a champion in his own life. He wanted to go out there and do something that would make him feel like he had arrived. And so he kept pushing. He was resilient. He kept forcing his parents, and his parents kept putting things off, till eventually his folks thought, all right, let's give this thing a go, almost in hopes that he would let it go after he failed. But you know what happened? He didn't fail. For 3.5 years, this man got up every day and he put in the work. What would take most people maybe an hour of study or 2 hours of study with the driver's handbook, he took 9 months working with a coach, teaching him the principles, the concepts about driving, took over 250 mock exams to the point where he could go to the drive center and pass the written test. 9 months. And then it was time for him to learn to drive. And over the next couple years, he put in thousands of kilometers of driving. At one point, for over 3 months, every night with one of his parents in the passenger seat, he would go to a mall parking lot, driving around that parking lot for hours just to get the feel of a car. And then for over 1.5 years, 2 years, with professional instructors, teaching him how to go out and drive safely and competently. And after 3.5 years, this gentleman went to the drive center and passed his driving exam with flying colors. At that point there, he had won. He'd become a champion. But not only that, a few months later, he'd taken the money that he had saved and he went out and he bought his own car, becoming champion in his own life. Now, that young man, that was my son, Thomas, a young man that started out on a journey that even I didn't believe he could do. So when he accomplished this incredible goal, I was so blown away by it, I had to make record of it. So I just wrote this short story about his desire and his willingness and wanting to get a license. And I wanted to have this story just written out so that a few years from now, that his brothers and his sister could look back and read it and truly appreciate this incredible accomplishment that their brother had made. But after I'd wrote the story, I give it to a friend of mine to edit. And with his encouragement, he said, people need to read this story. This was at the beginning of the pandemic about 3 years ago. And so with his encouragement, we put it online. And within 2 to 3 weeks, this story had been shared and sold worldwide. And people were contacting me, wanting to know more about what Thomas had accomplished and how he did it. And so I was doing podcasts and I was doing interviews. And I realized at that point there, what he accomplished was resonating with people, that it was giving people hope. So I decided at that moment there that this story would be my mission in life, to go out and share Thomas's story on how anybody, if they have the drive and the desire, can go out there and become a champion in their own life. So when I was putting all this together and starting this new academy that I started, I had a real problem, because you see, what he accomplished didn't fit my definition of what success was, how somebody could go out and become a champion in their own life. So I had to go back to the drawing table. And so what I did is I took everything that I learned over the years about being successful, becoming a champion in our own lives, and I took the things that my mentors had taken and taught me. And what I did is I laid it on top of what Thomas had done. And I analyzed it and I took out all the commonalities, all the things that all of us had done. And when I finished this entire experiment, there were 2 glaring conclusions that came out of it. And that's what I want to finish with, the 2 common glaring conclusions. The first one, I realized that success is structural, it's not personal. And what I mean by that is that success isn't just entitled for a few people. All of us have the ability to become successful. There has to be, though, a success structure, something in our mind that we think about on an ongoing basis. And my son, the two things that he does, or he did during this process that all successful people have done. Number one, he had this incredible burning desire to do something special in his own life. Every day, he would be on the computer looking at the kind of car he wanted. He would be on Google Maps on the Street View, clicking on his mouse every day, imagining he was driving down the road, creating this image in his mind, seeing what it was going to be like when he won, when he got his license, when he drove his car. The second thing my son did, he had this incredible burning faith that this would happen. Before he even had the driver's license in his rear pocket or the car was in the driveway, he could see it. He knew it was going to happen because he'd seen his brothers get their driver's license. So he knew that if they did it, he could do it. And for you listening here today, find somebody who's doing what you want to do or has done it and read about them and hear about their struggles, because it makes it personal. And then you will start believing and realizing that you can do it too. So the first thing I realized in the success process was that success was structural. It wasn't personal. And the second thing I learned is that systems are more important than individual skills, because a tried and true system will beat raw talent every day of the week. And so here's just two simple points that you can start using from that point of view. The first one, and this is what we did with Thomas, and this is what other successful people do. They have a written plan, knowing exactly what they want to do. And they take that plan out to the ultimate goal, the ultimate end, what this plan is going to do for them in their life. And then they scale it back and they break it down to incremental sections, basically doing to-do lists on a daily basis. And then along the way, they have road markers so that they can celebrate their accomplishments as they go along, know exactly what their progress looks like so they can evaluate and make changes in that along the way. And the second thing is that with my son and what other successful people have done is that they realize they can't do it alone. You have to surround yourself with people who not only will encourage you, but will assist you in the attainment of your goal. You can call it your mastermind group. You can call it your team, but it doesn't matter. You need to surround you with people of like mind who know what you want to do and support you in doing that. Because number one, it will provide accountability for you. And number two, it will provide mentorship and counsel along the way. It was an incredible process of what my son accomplished. And I'm so happy that I had the opportunity to share that with you today. But before I leave you, I want to leave you with one thing. I wish each and every one of you would have been with me and my wife on the day he went and bought his car. You see, we drove to the dealership and he was so excited. And I remember walking into the dealership and talking to the sales manager. And I remember him looking at him and handing his cash over for the car to the sales manager. And this cash, I mean, this envelope was filled with cash. It wasn't a check. And he handed over so proud. And the sales manager had him sign the forms and handed him back the keys. And when my son walked out, and my wife and I watched him, and he got into his car and he drove away, you should have seen the look in his face, because he'd won. This was the same person who was at the bottom of a mountain and nobody believed in him. It didn't matter though. He wanted to win. He did everything he could to put him in a position to become a champion. He climbed every step for 3.5, 4 years. Didn't care what anybody else thought. And then he got at the top of that mountain that day driving away in that car, and he put his hands in the air because he knew he'd been a winner. And my goal and my wish for each and every one of you watching here today, that you get to experience that type of thing in your life as well. So thank you very much. Thank you for letting me share this story with you. And I'm going to send it back to the coach.
Whoa, Jerry. I'm feeling the great feelings of a proud dad, but not only that, also an amazing person who just grew in himself and make you proud and make himself as a champion. Yes, you're right. I mean, I was writing, success is structural, faith in yourself and believing is life happens twice in our life, one in mind and one in actuality, and surround yourself with a trusted people who's going to push you to going to the next level. Amazing story of Thomas. I have heard it before, and the learnings from Thomas is a testimonial that success can be a lot of different things. Achievement is ultimately a personal concept and a mindset, and in the end, it's our independence and integrity that make it meaningful. Your hard work, dedication, and steady pursuit of progress is necessary to bring about one's dream, ambitions, goals. And that is an important distinction between an ordinary person and the person who is thinking like a champion. Thank you so much, Jerry. Love it. Amazing. And I wanted to continue this pursuit of happiness and pursuit of amazing speakers who are giving us food for thought, who are giving us those things that we are looking to grow and understand that one. And on my rostrum, the next speaker is none other but an amazing writer, a freelance columnist, a banker by profession, and a poet and writer by passion. He's also a foreign advocate by interest, on 4 decades of experience in spearheading banking operation, credit management, corporate banking, treasury management in different countries all around the world. He's a recipient of honorary doctor of philosophy and financial management by Greenwich University. I wanted to call upon the CEO of Habib Bank AG Zurich, Mr. Sirajuddin Aziz. Sir, welcome. And I'm going to hand over to you because you are going to give us amazing nuggets. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Rizwan. Coach, a little clarification before we embark on a discussion. I am not anymore the CEO of Habib Bank AG Zurich. I have taken a sabbatical and I'm pursuing my PhD in management sciences. So that's where I stand personally. First and foremost, I think it's in the fitness of things that I thank Dr. Fazal Mahmood for inviting me to this forum and for giving me this opportunity to speak on this subject. Very interesting one, though. Let me, dwell upon the title, the caption of the moot today, Think Like a Champion. I believe that there are in this 2 catchwords, think and champion. So let's try and dissect these 2 words a little bit before we embark on developing some understanding of what thinking is all about and who a champion is. There is one person with us 24 hours of the day, 7 days a week, 360 days of the year, for our entire life spectrum, in fact, that just does not stop talking to us. No matter how we treat that person, it refuses to be quiet. Even when we are resting physically, it keeps whispering to us. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the inner person. This inner person's conversation with us determines our actions. If the inner person is riddled with confusion, the actions will remain to be one of absolute calamitous, catastrophic. If the inner person was at peace and calm, there is no reason for any individual to be pursuing a life of tranquility in terms of achieving their own goals and targets of life. So it is the management of the inner person that we have within us. It is amazing that how, like a pendulum, it can swing from all that is evil to all that is spiritual and divine. It is our ability through inputs that we make into this thinking process of the inner person to keep the pendulum stuck at the right side of things, in the right side of the frame. I think that's the ability of what thinking is all about. From there emerges or germinates the thoughts that lead to actions. The second word that I would like to talk about is champion. I might give a little bit of a spin on its own axis, as they say, to the theme of this mood, as soon as the word champion is mentioned, ladies and gentlemen, it conjures in the mind that there is somebody who is already at the peak of his success, that he's already at the summit, that he doesn't need to do anything further. He's already acquired that status of being a champion. Now, if somebody who is not at the apex of an organization, therefore by deduction cannot be a champion. So anybody who has achieved the summit, what about the person at the base camp who facilitated an individual to rise to the summit? Isn't he or she, aren't they champions in their own rights? So is champion restricted to an individual? Or champion is a collection of people? You have a champion organization also, right? You can have a champion organization with a given segment of an industry. What is that? A collection of motivated individuals who have a common and a shared objective to achieve. So I would like to remind my audience that let us not take champions in an isolated form of an individual. Champion is a broad-based concept, an all-encompassing concept. If Descartes had said, "I think, therefore I am," absolutely right, possibly. But does it need to be taken at face value? Because thinking will not achieve anything. Action will. Thinking devoid of action tantamounts to almost daydreaming. And I hope you would agree with me that daydreaming is also a necessary prelude to thinking. You have to have wild imaginations in order to be able to think and to get the thinking process, which is by in its own definition a distinct, definitive activity that is deliberate in nature, requires identification of gaps in the broad-based knowledge possessed either by an entity or an individual. And through the process of thinking and identification, then there is this ability through action to be able to plug those gaps in order for us to be able to achieve what we have in our mind as a target, as a goal, as an objective, as a vision. Could be any of those. If Albert Einstein had said that imagination is everything because it is a prelude, it foretells to the coming attractions of life. That's the beauty of thinking. The literal meaning of the word, by a dictionary definition of a champion, is a person who has surpassed all rivals in a competition or a contest. Now here comes the element of competitiveness. Competitiveness by nature is an act of selfishness to some degree. Want to be successful at the cost of others, or want to be successful along with others, is a guideline that we need to provide continuously to our inner thinking process. Competition induces cutthroat competition. Sounds very carnivorous. Sounds like you are going to be successful upon the corpses and skeletons of your colleagues around you in organizations or in your society. Is that what a human pursuit or human endeavor be? Certainly not. In my personal assessment, ladies and gentlemen, a champion is a person who has the ability to handhold others and to make them champions in their pursuit and their endeavors of trying to achieve something that they would have targeted for themselves. It is about collection of self-motivated persons that must be led And the leader, by virtue of participating in the growth of those individuals, automatically gets enthroned to the status of being a champion. Not without it. You have to be collaborative with people, because champion defines itself by a definite means of registering that it is position of specialized skills or superior skills of either doing it or managing it, whichever way you look at it. It could involve supporting a cause, or it could involve creating awareness of the cause itself. The obvious characteristics of a champion, therefore, in my personal view, is having a strong mental attitude, an unflinching faith in own self, of the ability that is needed to be able to pursue a path of progress and development for self and society, and also to be able to navigate the vessels of one's life on the stormy waters of life and not be intimidated by challenges that come our way. I believe that people who are champions are strong adherents to the concept of self-discipline and good governance. These two elements are marked qualities of champions. There is also a belief that I have, that neuroscientists have mentioned it in several of their assessments, that champion is a person who strives to find out how good and great they can be, talks softly, plays hardball, loves the battle, hates to be a loser, but is open to losing. For from losing, he acquires the faith to move on in life and accept the challenge yet once more. The ability to fight back continuously to challenges that keep on cropping up in our lives. That's the ability of a champion, I believe. It is also my belief, ladies and gentlemen, that all the inconceivable achievements that have been published on the pages of human history have been as a result of some daredevil daydreaming. Otherwise, how could anybody translate a comic book of flying saucers into today's space shuttles? I'm very certain that none of our grandfathers would have ever conceived or thought that there could actually be people out there in the space. That's a reality. But somebody had thought about it. Wild thought, which took its time of developing itself into an actionable item. So we need to have a good inventory of some very important thinking process so that we are able to challenge our abilities as we progress in life. Just as when we are in our 20s and 30s, our challenges are of a very different nature. And we constitute ourselves as champions given that time scale. But as we move on to our 40s and 50s, we look at it as a very insignificant event in our lives. Because there are new milestones to be achieved, and that's the journey of a champion. It is unending in nature. The pursuit has to be continuous. It is like till death do us apart. That's the pursuit that needs to be trained for. And the training has to come from within. The within training is again controlling of your inner thoughts. To think there is no specific degree that one needs to obtain in life from any university. Thinking is a free process given to us by divinity. Anybody can think, but very few can act. because action requires possession of skills, abilities, talent, and knowledge. Devoid of it, thinking would not mean to be a very major factor in life. Thinking alone cannot convert any individual or an organization or a society into being a champion. It has to be backed sufficiently, very adequately by possession of action that demonstrates in itself abilities and skills. Since thinking is not all about doing, it is important that we spend not our entire life just thinking. Let's do some thinking and let's do some action. Let there be a fair balance between thinking and action. Action alone without thinking would lead to disastrous results. But thinking alone without action would also mean inertia in life, which is just not the case for any human endeavor. I am of the opinion that to be able to think like a champion, we need to amend our motto: think and act like a champion. Nothing is more motivational in life than to see somebody perform what you could envision and you see that happening. That's the beauty of it. And I think the earlier speaker's example of his son demonstrates my thought as well. Watching itself is exhilarating in terms of personal motivation. So all we need to do is to be able to gather for ourselves a team of like-minded people who must think and act like champions. Let me conclude this short message about the subject itself, that thinking has to be adequately fed with nobility of ideas in order for us to have a resultant noble society. That should be the objective. Thank you very much. Over to you, Coach Rizwan.
I am in shock and awe of listening to you, Mr. Aziz, about the champion description and ability to make other champion. You know, I'm always wary of the narrow workaholic mentality, over-occupied mind, personal sacrifices that ultimately require the name of professionalism and positive thinking. But I am in a shock and awe. Not only you have given us the characteristic of a champion, but you also gave sacrifice to be as a certain leader to satisfaction to help others who are in choppy waters. Amazing, amazing idea. And I love your concept that not thinking only, but action makes the real change. Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for your thoughtful and deep thought-provoking, I would say, ideas. I love to hear more, and I know a lot of people wanted to hear more. And your writer and columnist came forward, and we were in connected right deep down there. Amazing, amazing. I know with the essence of time, I wanted to move quickly to our next speaker, who is also going to be amazing talk. He is also past president of Rotary Club of Pakistan. He is a consultant radiologist in clinic. He has done a lot of work in serving human in medical field, and now he's working tirelessly to developing people in a different level. He's a member of managing committee, Conveyor Library Literacy Committee in Karachi, Gymkhana, ex-president of Radiology Society of Pakistan. And please help me welcome Dr. Muhammad Nafees Qureshi. Dr. Muhammad Nafees Qureshi, right here on your screen, on the topic of thinking like a champion, because we all are already have gone amazing ideas from others, understanding of what is champion, how do you think, what to think, and how to apply and act as a responsible champion. Dr. Nafis, your camera and microphone is off. If you turn it on, I'm going to over to you so you can take over the stage while people are waiting to hear more from you. Your camera is still off, sir. Something.
I think my microphone is on now.
Yeah, you're good. You can start.
And my camera is also on.
You're on. You're on. You can go.
Yeah. Thanks, Coach Rizwan, for your kind words. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings from Pakistan. I'll ask a question in the beginning of my talk. If a person who wants to climb a mountain and wants to become a mountaineer, champion mountaineer, what he needs initially. He requires a mountain that he wants to climb and wants to become a champion mountaineer. He needs a target which he can see with a pinhole vision. And he wants a concentration and focus, which is the first step of champion thinking. A famous phrase goes like a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. Dr. Fazal, I appreciate your endeavor to organize this summit on a very insightful topic, Think Like a Champion. When I see this word champion, for my understanding in my own language, what does champion means? According to the dictionary, it means in Pakistani language, which is Urdu, it means Bahadur. And Bahadur means courageous. And if a person wants to become a champion, the first thing he requires is initiative, and initiative comes through his courage. And that is the first letter of the champion, C. The second word the champion has, the second letter or the alphabet, is heroic. We always denote this word champion to a person who does positive work. So his working is like a hero. The third word is admirable. As he is doing a positive work, that's why he is always admirable. Motivation is the fourth letter, M, of the champion. And the motivation in a Pakistani Sufi who says that a person who thinks of a very big dream, he doesn't involve himself in a small fights, a small arguments. Exactly word, his name is Wasif Ali Wasif, and he says, बड़ी मंजिल के मुसाफिर छोटे झगड़ों में नहीं पड़ते. And that is what the big dream gives the motivation. The big dream keeps him always in motivated state. And what a champion needs is a motivation all the time. Since when you're doing some very big work, you are doing any work, there are many things, many hurdles come in the way. And a champion is always a persistent person. His persistency make him always go him ahead. Otherwise, the hurdles, the difficulties of the life can stop him. But since he is a very persistent person, he needs always he sees the way always on a positive note. As there are so many people who are doing the same job, and the champion is also doing the same job. So he improvises himself. He does some innovation in his work. And that is the sixth word of champion, sixth letter or sixth alphabet of the champion. And he is also optimistic, as most of the speakers told in their speeches that negative thoughts, you have to avoid a negative thought. So optimistic thinking is the hallmark of a champion. And last but not least, that is, he is a noble person. Noble person, as he is doing some big positive thing, and that's why his all working is his discipline is on a noble style. So that's why this 8-letter word champion denotes itself that what a champion should think. A champion whose life struggle is very close to my heart is Mr. Abdul Sattar Edi. He was a small laborer in 50s in Pakistan, and he was not a very literate person as far as the education, school education is concerned. One day in his street, he saw a murder, and he saw a person dying and taking his last respiration. He was gasping, and there was no one who can take that gasping person to the hospital. He at that time thought he lift that person on his shoulder and went to the hospital, and doctor said that this person is already passed away. Since then, that person who was just a laborer, a very small street laborer, started doing charity work. And when he passed away a few years ago, his funeral was given 21 gun salutes, and the funeral was attended by the President of Pakistan. So he was the champion. In his whole life, he did not think any difficulty whatsoever it comes in his life, but he always think positive towards humanity, and he keeps on going on. That is the biggest example. So in my opinion, the champion has to set high goals, and that high goals always keep you motivated. The champion should be focused, targeted, because when he completes that target, it is not the completion of that job or that work. It is the next step of a person, that next step of a person while he's going up. He has to grow a mindset which believes dedication, and he embraces all the challenges. That is the basic thing. A person who wants to become champion. Practice, practice, and practice. Practice makes perfect, and as many of the speakers said, that he should think always that the next day will be better, the next morning will be better, the next time will be better. So that positive thinking and the practice of thinking this to become better, he gets a better day. And our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he used to say that every person, a good person, has a day, good day, better day than the yesterday. And the discipline of the life. And I like one of the speakers very much this thing, that discipline with own self. If he wants to tie a seat belt, he should think that the seat belt secure his life, is necessary while driving. He shouldn't be doing this because of some fear. So, I mean, many of persons, when they have fear from the CTD cameras, that they shouldn't do anything. But when they know that they are not cameras, they do very indisciplined things, and a champion doesn't do that. Visualizing success always, and that is a part of positive thinking. If a person visualizes success, always success is the mindset, and if he does it, this is a champion thinking. And surroundings is very important. It is not possible that a person lives with unsuccessful people, negative people, and he can get success. For success, he has to live with the successful people and the positive people. Otherwise, his mindset becomes the same as of his surroundings if he keeps on living with the negative people. There are so many negative people who always think the negative out of everything. It's like a bee who has 80 eyes, but whenever it sits on the unclean place. And positivity, as we have said, that this is the encouragement of a person. And the next thing comes is emotions. Controlling emotions is a key for any success, because whenever a person gets emotions, it is a very natural thing, but it can create a lot of problem, because a person who can listen and tolerate only for 20 seconds the adrenaline secretion of the brain starts in 20 seconds. And if he can tolerate for 20 seconds, he can do it for another 1 hour. And for small things, for very, very small things, people fight and they go in the jail and sometimes death sentences just because of 20-second intolerance. So for champion, the tolerance is the basic thing. A champion should be hungry for the success, always hungry for the success. There are many people who are in the race, many people who wants to become a successful person in their life. Excuse me. But the persons who fall down and thinks that he has no success, but a champion always look upwards. He falls down and he gets up, and the person who gets up after falling down can become champion. There is a Urdu verse that वो तिफल क्या गिरेगा जो अभी पालने में है, गिरते हैं शहसवार ही मैदानी जंग में. Thank you, Coach Rizwan. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Nafees. This has been amazing to learn the way you set it out, acronyms, you go down 30 for champion. Perhaps our audience already know the vulnerability, intimacy, and emotional depth are the kinds of things that aren't built up like a building or a bank account, but it takes a special form of surrender to achieve and maintain the thought process of a champion. And I love the fact you went through all the acronyms and you alluded the fact how a champion should be seen, regarded, and be perceived as, and thinking about the champion. I know it's been 2 hours. We've been I have amazing speaker, and they have given their thought process and their lifelong learning with you. And right now, I'm urging to bring the next speaker here, which is another TEDx speaker, a certified John Maxwell trainer, coach, speaker, and a teacher with a transformational ability as a coach. She is a certified John Maxwell leadership trainer. She is dedicated to helping individuals and organizations develop their leadership skills and achieve their maximum potential with a focus on value-based leadership. Sadhika has worked with the client for all ages, background, industry to help them discover the gifts of talent, overcome barriers, and achieve success both personally and professionally. Please help me welcome our next speaker, Sadhika KB, all the way from UAE. Over to you for this amazing
Hello.
summit happening, Thinking Like a Champion.
Thank you. Hello, the Coach Rizwan. Good evening, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon. I don't know which part of the world you are. I have a question for you. Why do you think the cheetah is a skilled hunter? Is it because of its speed? Most people think that it is because of the speed. The cheetah, by the way, can reach 56 miles per hour. But his flexibility and agility to change its direction helps him get his victim no matter where it goes or no matter the direction it takes, because he can lower its speed by 9 miles per minute. So whenever the victim takes a different turn or a different direction, he can control its speed, and he can go 9 miles per minute lower or slower in order to attack its victim. So, in my opinion, the first thing a champion thinks about is mind shifting and leader shifting, as John Maxwell says, the ability to be agile and flexible whenever change hits, like COVID, for instance. Or I'm going to tell you what is happening nowadays. For today, fast is faster and forward is shorter. And if the leader or the champion, if you want to call it as such, cannot mind shift and cannot have this flexibility in his mindset or her mindset, they cannot put up with the fast forward future that is hitting us so quickly. I mean, we are moving into the AI world, into the chat GPT world, into the metaverse world very, very quickly. And if we don't have this agility and flexibility in thinking, we cannot put up with the progress and with the change that is occurring around us. But also, on the other hand, if I shift my direction without purpose, I'm going to find myself in a chaotic world. So I want you to listen carefully. With time, I discovered that purpose precedes existence. And that means God created my purpose before He created me. He planted those seeds within me. And this is what makes me unique. This is what makes me stand out as a human being. And this is what makes each and every one of you different and unique, because God has planted certain seeds within you. And this is meant to be actually in order to complete the tapestry of humanity. Because your uniqueness adds to my uniqueness. I cannot do everything on my own. I need you. I need everybody to put up this puzzle together, these pieces together. And if I don't discover this seed and it gets buried within me, I cannot live up to my purpose. And my life would be chaotic. So, in order to do that, we really need to put the noise on the side, as we say. And when I say noise, unfortunately, the noise starts at home, with family, with the parents, because the focus is on our weaknesses and not on our strength. And those seeds are our strength. And unfortunately, they water the wrong seeds. I'm going to give a simple example. Like when we start going to school, even the teacher focuses on our weaknesses. They might go to my parents and say, well, your daughter needs math courses, extra math courses, because she's not doing well with math. Well, the seed that God has put within me is not meant to be in math. It's not meant to be that I would be a perfect student in mathematics. While I have other skills, I have other seeds planted within me that needs to be watered. So first of all, I need to be flexible, agile in my mindset as a leader, as a champion, in order to lead the change that is coming so fast forward towards us. But second, I need to have my purpose very clear. I need to discover what this purpose that God has created before He created me and that I need to fulfill. Adding to all these, if I follow my purpose, but I do not have what we call emotional intelligence or empathy in particular, how would I be able as a leader or as a champion help others without judgment? Because also empathy should precede judgment. And in order to have empathy preceding judgment, I need to find the human that God has created, the human that God wants me to be, and not the human that the society or the community or even my boss or my manager or my parents or anyone wants me to be. So if I can find that human, empathy will precede judgment. On top of all these, and especially nowadays, because things are moving so fast, and especially here in Dubai, I can see what is happening. Already people are in the metaverse. Already they are having meetings in the metaverse. Already we have coffee shops in the metaverse. There are bookstores in the metaverse. People are selling products in the metaverse. But who is behind the avatar? Am I 100% sure that I'm dealing with the person that I should be dealing with? Am I 100% sure that I am safe in that virtual world? What I need to carry with me as a champion to that world are my values. And I need to be equipped with those values, especially when it comes to the youth. If there are no core values within us and we carry them with us into every single room we walk into, chaos is going to take over again and again. Because behind those avatars, there might be a serial killer, or that there might be a pedophile. Have you ever thought of that? Are we safe without our values? Let's put the virtual world on the side and let's take ChatGPT. And it's infiltrating into the schools nowadays. As a champion, if I do not, as a human being, if I do not have values as a student or as a teacher, ChatGPT will be doing whatever I need to be doing. My human intelligence would be zero. It would be completely obliterated. I can write my essay, I can find the answers as a student, I can ask ChatGPT to do everything I need to do. But as a champion, I need to carry my values in my heart. And I need to do what I need to do as a conscious champion and a conscious human being in order to grow and develop as a human being. In addition to all these, a champion, in my opinion, lives a life of significance and not a life of success. Because a life of success is all about me. It's about my goals, it's about my dreams, it's about the money I want, it's about the income I want, it's about the house I want, it's about the car I want, and so on and so forth. But a life of significance, it's about the others. A champion always lives a life of significance, in my opinion, in order not to grow on their own or on my own, but in order to grow all together. Because as John Maxwell says, it's lonely at the top. And if you do not reproduce leaders and take them along with you to the top, you will be lonely. You will find yourself alone at some point. So living a life of success is a life of significance is a champion's mindset. I'm going to repeat what I said. A champion, first of all, needs to leader shift, or let's put it this way, mind shift whenever change hits. He needs flexibility, agility in his mindset in order to grow and take with him the team or the organization or even his family towards what's coming in the future. But without knowing our purpose, we lose our direction. So our purpose should be clear. And this makes our direction and our path and our journey clear as well. And in addition to that, we need empathy to obliterate judgment. If I want to grow, I need to grow the people around me without any judgment. And I need to take my values with me into every single room I step in, whether in the house, whether in the workplace, whether in the virtual world, or anywhere I go. If I don't have values, I will be in a chaotic world for sure. And then a champion is always seeking a life of significance and not a life of success, because it's about the we and not about the I. So I advise all of you to find the seed that God has planted already within you, and that is your purpose. The next step is to water that seed and to grow it in order to be able to live your purpose. And hang on to your values wherever you go, because the values are exactly like the building's main columns. If you remove those columns, the building just collapses. And if a human being removes his values or her values away, they collapse and they lose their identity, they lose who they are, they lose their purpose, and they lose the direction in their life during their journey. And mainly, be the human God created you to be in order to think like a champion and live like a champion. Thank you, Coach Rizwan. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Sadhika. Often we hear that everyone fears that keep them taking risks, accepting responsibilities, and being successful, thinking as a champion. Sadhika, your words of practical common sense advice were very helpful in terms of understanding that uniqueness of being human, being purposeful, using empathy and values to creating a significance for today, tomorrow, and always. Amazing discussion. And you bring in the AI and metaverse, a whole new different topic about thinking as a champion. Love it. And I think see and absorbing of information so far in this amazing session happening right now on Learn to Grow Rich. Thanks to Dr. Faz for giving that audience that the knowledge and wealth that comes from years of experience and going through life, understanding what at stake and what is success means. It's amazing. Thank you, Dr. Faz. I think everybody was talking about it, and I wanted to quickly jump on. You just need some time to simmer it down, to absorb all the learning. You just got it from Sadhika, but I wanted to skip down due to the time essence to our next speaker. And next speaker is another banker from Indian Institute of Banker, and now working as a motivational speaker. He's a certified leadership, business, and executive coach, over 36 years in public and private sector. He's working. He started his career as youngest, branch head to lead a metro city in India, and 20 years in banking sector. He learned a lot of great skills in managing and understanding people and their ability to helping them grow to become responsible in personal and professional life. A leader throughout his career and ability to deliver beyond expectation due to his leadership style, personality, and extensive knowledge. And I was leading the largest bank in Mumbai. Please help me welcome our next speaker, Harish Mehta from India. Harish Mehta, over to you.
Thank you, Rizwan. I was always a champion. I was born a champion. I lived the life of a champion for the next 40 years as a leader. It is only 2020. A man who was traveling every day, one city to another, sharing his thoughts on how to grow yourself, how to grow your leadership style, how to become the best in the world, was grounded. Yes, this man was grounded on the 22nd of March 2020. So, what happens to a champion when he's grounded, who has been speaking for the last 10 years, jumping aircrafts and moving countries? 10 years is my journey from 2012 to 2020. I was a speaker, coach, mentor, teacher. John Maxwell, my friend Marshall Goldsmith, my friend Les Brown, and some great people who have learned from. You can imagine what happened. I needed to change the way I think. Why am I narrating my personal example is I was thinking for over 2 to 3 days, what will I do now? I've been speaking in front of audiences and I've never spoken in front of this TV camera. And when TV cameras take over, I did not know the skill to operate and how to speak, what to speak. And then people don't put on their cameras. What is the energy level of people? So a champion was grounded, and I mean it literally. I took upon me the thought that I need to shake up myself, wake up, and become the champion I was. So what did I do? I started speaking in front of this TV camera and engaging with leadership across the globe. And I must share with you, and you need to respect, this man was speaking from New Zealand on one side to Guyana on the other side in one single day. That was the energy that I carried because I was always a champion. How could I be a failure now? And when these thoughts came to me, I said, what you think is what you become. You can always think big and become big, provided you do big. So what happened was the transformation in me brought about a hidden aspect in people, moving people from scarcity to abundance in their mind. Started thinking, why do people live a poverty life? Why do people talk small? What stops them from becoming big and abundant and create happiness, prosperity in this world? So during the course of the last 24 months, I started speaking on scarcity to abundance in the mind. Started doing programs how people need to move from a scarcity mind to an abundant mind. And the only thing that they need to do is think, and think. Think, who am I? What do I have? And why should people care? I installed this thought. Why am I narrating my own example? Because this has been a life-changing for me. And today, as I speak, I created this program called Reset Your Mindset. Yes, press the reset button and create a mindset of your own. What happened in this was I engage with people to change the way they think, change the way they listen, and change the way they do. Yes. When you change the way you think, when you change the way you do, everything changes. And today, when I speak to you on this, I know I have been helping leadership across the globe look at themselves. Why do they do what they do, and what results they get, and what new they need to do to get the results they want. So I've made people think from want to desire, from desire to burning desire, and from a burning desire to fulfillment. I shared with them the energy required, the focus required, and how do you move your desire to burning desire and fulfillment. For this, I taught them, I gave them some great tools: 24/7 positive mental attitude, enthusiasm, and self-discipline. With these three key words, I make them feel, what do you need to leave? So, my friends, I uprooted them from their current mindset. Uproot from the root. Yes, I mean it. Uproot from the root and replant them with a new enthusiasm, vigor, energy, and decisiveness in them. What do they really want in this life? What do they really want in this life today? Because I made them think. And I made them think, in life you get what you want when you know what you want. Do you really know what you want? Do you really know what you want well enough? The word is well enough. When you know well enough, it happens. People call it a miracle. I call it the new normal. I started spreading this message in leadership. And I created this Reset Your Mindset program, which is in 4 modules and finally is a billionaire in training. You know what? It triggered a thought. If I am a champion, what stops me from becoming a champion? Yes. So I taught them the process. What stops you from becoming the champion is, do you live a life which has these 5 components? Which are those components? I am confident, I am fearless, I am unstoppable, I am limitless, I believe in myself, and I am the best. The pattern in their thinking changed. When they repeated these words over and over and over again, I made them do it 100 times a day. I made them start thinking, do we really want what we get, or what we want is what we need to get? So, a positioning for themselves that they are the best and they need to be the best. When this thought was stitched, I asked them, now, if you can think what you want, what stops you from getting what you want? Yes. When you change the way you think, when you change the way you listen, when you change the way you do, you create a new mindset. People have been speaking before me about mindset. I do the process, removing the current mindset from the roots and installing the new mindset required, which is all about, can you see your big picture? Number 1, can you see your big picture? Where do you want to be when you hang up your... Yes. And then once you reset your mindset, you look at yourself, that the mindset needed comes up. And what is the mindset needed? The mindset needed says, this is the change that you need to bring in creating the mind which helps you become the person you were born to be. Now, do you know What were you born to be? You don't. Do you need to know? Yes, you need to know. What do you need to do to bring that into you? Is stop complaining, stop criticizing, stop worrying, stop procrastinating, and live the life you deserve. Now, these shifts, which I call, were resetting your mindset. My audience who's listening to me and who will listen to this later on, have you ever reset your mobile phone? You have an opportunity today to reset and remove the garbage that is not required, to leave those people who are negative, to leave those thoughts, people, and things which are no more required by you. Just like those numbers you carry, 5,000 numbers you carry, and you need only 50 people in that telephone. So ask yourself, why do you need a reset? Because you got a different result. Now, to get the best results, you need to reset your mindset. So this is the process. Just like making profits in business is a process, resetting your mindset is a process. Uprooting and rerouting to what you really want, that desire to fulfillment. Yes, when you start thinking what I want and do I really want it, it happens. So people, when I look at those 6 pillars we talk about, those 6 pillars is how to develop a mindset is think, believe, and act. What do you need? You need clarity. Who I am, what do I have, and what do I need to have? And this needs to be communicated from inside to outside and consistently in life. So clarity, communicate with clarity, and be consistent in life and install those 6 pillars. Those 6 pillars are coming up in the next slide. Can you please show the next slide? Yes. This is the essence of the mindset that needs to be created in each and every person. The 6 pillars is the big picture in your life. Can you see the big picture? Can you create the big picture? Can you own that big picture and create that? And when you install this pillar, you know what? You move from scarcity mind to an abundant mind, and you become limitless. Unstoppable is the word. You become unstoppable and limitless. And when you remove your bad and ugly, you know what is left? The good. And when you have the good in you and you get space, your creativity starts to come in. And when your creativity starts to come in and you leave your bad and ugly habits, what happened? You start taking ownership of your success. You got so much space to think, and you are back in the frame of thinking like a champion. And you know what? The moment you start thinking back like a champion, you make an impact in the lives of people around you. And when you make an impact in the peoples around you, people look at you differently. They look at you as the leader they were missing, the champion that they were missing. And this is what I learned from these 3 years today as I'm back to traveling globally. I was just in Africa about 10 days back, and I go back to the countries which I want to visit, sharing this thought of resetting the mindset and getting people to understand. Do you know what's their big why? Why are you here on planet Earth? Find out. Do you have a big why or a small why? If you have a big why, be that extraordinary. Show it to people. Your 24/7 reflects who you are. The quality of your routine defines the caliber of your performance. And as I teach this to senior leadership within the country and outside the country, and get them out of the scarcity mind, it's impossible. Everything is possible, provided you have the big fat why chasing you in your life. And this is the new abundant Harish Mehta, who speaks about abundance to everybody. And you can all create abundance by just looking at the way you think, the way you act, and the way you do. And remember, the moment you decide, it's in your moments of decision that you design your destiny. The moment you decide to change the way you think and become the person you were born to be, you see the magic is waiting to happen. And I'm grateful that I have learned all this from my gurus, including John Maxwell, including Les Brown, including Bob Proctor, including Tony Buzan. I have overinvested, I must confess this to you. I am overinvested in myself, and I continue to share this knowledge, wisdom, and belief to the people I belong to. That's why I call myself an abundant coach, Harish Mehta, today. I am there to give. I am born to give. I am born to share, care, listen, learn, grow current and future leaders. So this is a small 8 to 10 minute story. I speak for 8 hours, and I'm happy to speak again. Thank you, Dr. Faz, and thank you very much for listening and being a part of my story. It's a 43-year leadership story, and I still have 20 great years to give. Thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me. Rizwan, I share my energy with everybody around. That's what I have, and that's what I can.
Sure did. You sure do. Your energy has, put a new soul in everybody's mind and thoughts. After being on the stage for 2.5 hours, a number of people were thinking, okay, I got the ideas, but you just open up with the new sense of urgency and action. You appeal more of our shared capacity for reasoning, preparation, and knowledge. To really hone our craft, and showing these ingredients as a successful life is essentially the same for artists, entrepreneurs, professionals, just like you. And I love your 6 pillars of all the reset mind, uprooting the old and reinstating the new one. Your energy and abundance level thinking and unstoppable power just grabs from our soul, and to thinking as a champion. Thank you. That was amazing. I love the fact that and I'm fortunate enough to sharing the stage with you, listening to you live, and writing a note for me, because I think when note takers are money makers. And if you have listened to all of these speakers, folks, if you have gone through their presentation, took 1 or 2 golden nuggets with you, I bet those golden nuggets won't let you sleep tonight, because if your dream and goal and your why is big enough, the sleep is not there. Your mindset, active mindset, is going to keep you going toward your championship. And for that reason, I'm going to call upon our next speaker, who is another amazing speaker. I call her my sister from another mother. She is the partner with Black Women in Business, looking for someone to trust in financial space. She is a financial advisor and CEO of Concierge Financial Advisory. She's the president of Money Concept Wealth Management Financial Planning. While she is dedicated to financial planning and award-winning insurance broker, she's passionate international speaker and a best-selling author, teaching her client to correctly manage their money, invest in the values so they can live their life without worrying about money. She has received numerous awards for community impact, her field of including Medallion of Recognition of Excellence, Service and Sacrifice from the Comptroller of Maryland, Dr. Constance. Has received an honorary doctorate of philosophy on her work and contribution to financial literacy, financial advancement. To number 1, she's become the 2022 honoree of the Association of African American Financial Advisor 50 Under 50. So great talk, great discussion. And I wanted to add on Dr. Constance Craig Mason to the podium to give you a whole lot of discussion. She will start with something totally amazing, and I'm ready to listen to it. Go ahead, Dr. Constant.
Do you think you have what it takes? Are you going to give up, or have you got some fight left in you? Your mindset is everything. Your mindset will determine if you will make it or not. Your mindset will determine if you will be remembered or forgotten. Your mindset will determine whether you will be committed to achieving your goals when things get tough, as we all know they will, because no human goes through life without huge challenges. Your mindset is everything. There is no greater asset than yourself, your own mind. Every day you are given many choices. Take the easy road or the road uphill that leads to success. The uphill track is challenging, yes. It is tough. It will push you to your limits. But in pushing you to your limits, you will also find if you only show your courage, it will push you past your perceived limitations to growth and success.
Hey, 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 Riz. Can you hear me and see me? I can't hear you, Riz.
I can hear you, but your camera is not that clear. Something is not working properly.
Okay, let me try something. Give me a second.
But I can hear you very well.
Okay, do you want me to just go with that?
Check if you can use that, I think in setting. Yeah, yeah, it's working. I can see your back wall.
Yeah.
But I can't see you.
That's weird.
Yeah, your screen is blurred.
Okay, I'll try again. Still can't see me? You say you still can't see me?
No.
Well, I'll tell you what. Can we just go with the audio?
Okay. Keep your camera on though.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead.
Give me a second. I'll try one other thing here.
Perhaps use the fading.
Can you hear my audio?
Yes, I can hear you audio. I think use that fading thing in StreamYard. If you move it down a little bit on your left side.
Okay.
Go to your virtual background and then move it.
Yes.
Yes.
Is that it?
Yeah. You're on.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. Like my sister said earlier, the technical difficulties can get you down, but not this girl over here. I am super excited to be before you at this global summit. And I want to just touch on the synergy that all of the speakers have had so far. Listen, they say that repetition is the mother of all learning, the father of action, and the architect of accomplishment. That was Zig Ziglar. So I wanted to share with you while I'm here 3 Ds of unapologetic champion. 3 Ds of an unapologetic champion. Well, let me first say that I, Dr. Constance, consider myself to be what they call an unlikely champion. An unlikely champion. Why is that? Because statistically, I'm not supposed to be here. Listen, I'm not supposed to consider myself a champion or a winner because I grew up in the inner city of Baltimore in poverty. Now, some of you may be able to identify with not growing up with a silver spoon in your mouth. Maybe you identify with not having a college degree or some letters behind your name, as they say, the A, B, C's, and D's that go behind your name that make you feel like a winner. How about this? I had 3 young babies by the time I was 21. I'm talking about an unapologetic winner, an unapologetic champion because I choose to be. You know, when I was in the inner city of Baltimore growing up, I didn't see a lot of what we call success, right? But we had a lot of love and we had a lot of encouragement from our parents. But I wanted more for my life. Somebody put more in the chat if I can see those. More. What kind of more? Memories, right? More options. Wanted to have more opportunities, even resources that I didn't see every day. But what about getting exposed to new things? What about having experiences that I've never had before, never saw modeled before me? But what would it take to be able to have that more? What would it take to be that champion? Well, it goes back to my 3 Ds. So my first D, and I'm going to make this really simple and easy for you. My first D is decide. Many of our speakers today have talked to you about about the success mindset, about the champion mindset, and I'll do the same. I had to decide that I wanted more for my life, and it didn't just end there, right? Because when you think about yourself, oftentimes it's positive, but sometimes it can be negative. We can have negative feelings and thoughts about ourselves that can hamper what we do for a living. It can hamper how we show up in our homes. It can hamper how we show up even in our romantic relationships. But we're talking about being an unapologetic champion. There's a biblical reference that goes, as a man thinks, so is he. As a man thinks, or a woman, so is she. I want you to think about one of my favorite poets that has gone on before us. Her name, Maya Angelou. And she said, stand up straight and realize who you are, that you tower over your circumstances. I'll say that again. Stand up straight and realize who you are and that you tower over your circumstances. She's talking about resilience. You can be a winner by resilience every single day. What is resilience? It's the mental strength that it takes for you to overcome. The mental strength that it takes for you to overcome and win. Think about what you've gone through already this week. It probably took some of that resilience for you to be able to get yourself up and get yourself going. See, it's not always the big things when we think about being a champion. You know, those big endeavors, those awesome sports events that we see some of our favorite athletes participating in. No, you get to be a champion if you choose, if you decide that you want to get up every day resilient like never before. My second D before I head out with you guys today is do. We've heard that we need to have a certain mindset, and that's absolutely true. But what sense is it to think that you're amazing and not go out here and show the world that you are? Not go out here and actualize the things that you say you are, the things that you believe that you are. Listen, you got to do something. Act like champions act. And one of those things that I myself personally have engaged in is investing in myself. I have a quote of my own that goes, invest in yourself because you are the greatest investment ever. Invest in yourself, right? We think about commodities, investments, and all of those kinds of things, real estate, but no, you are the greatest investment. You can win every day, not just by the resilience of your mind, but by the perseverance of getting up and go. Somebody put perseverance in the chat for me. Perseverance is the action that goes along with that resilient mindset. So like I said, you can't just think and speak. You got to get up and do something. You got to get up and use the talents, use the giftings that God has given you. If you believe in your higher power and he has told you or she has told you that you are magnificent, that you are incredible, that you are amazing, then you believe that. And what you do is you invest in those things that show the world that you are, right? Whether it's education or whether it's taking better care of yourself, whether it is getting around people who can push you to be better. But you got to do something. There's a quote by Walter Elliott that goes, "Perseverance is not a long race. It's many short races, one after another." Perseverance is not a long race. It's many short races, one after another. I'll give you really quick a short story, even this week for me, that I had to decide if I was going to get up and go to a respiratory therapy appointment that I waited 3 years to get, guys, 3 years to get into this particular appointment. And here I was laying in the bed. I didn't feel like going. It was rainy outside. I was just like, ugh, I don't even want to go. And I was thinking to myself, I have to go to the appointment, or I got to go to the appointment. Instead of thinking, I get to go to that appointment. See, because I'm somebody who doesn't give up on others. I champion, I cheerlead. I'm always rooting for the next person, but I'm not by myself at times where you want to give up on your own self. Listen, somebody might not be patting you on the back and telling you get up and go. You got to tell yourself. So there I was a few minutes before my doctor's appointment, and I was still laying in the bed. I had to literally, mentally tell myself, get yourself up and go on to that appointment. Why? Because you get the opportunity to invest in yourself, in your health and wellness. Why would you lay here in this funk, right? Can I keep it real with you? Why would you lay here in this funk when you get the opportunity to go and get stronger, to go and breathe the air that the Father has given you to breathe? Get yourself up and go to that appointment. Listen, it's an everyday thing with this resilience of mind. It's an everyday thing with this perseverance of acting. So that's my number 2. My number 1, decide. My number 2 is do. Invest in yourself and get up and go, even when you don't feel like it. And my last tip before I get out of here is duplicate. We said decide, do, and duplicate. Hey, listen. When you are a champion, you want champions around you, right? You want people around you that are also winning. I say you can compete healthy in community and collaboration. Community and collaboration, those are words that are super dear to my heart, because I know that as I'm persevering, as I'm resilient, as I'm working towards my goals and dreams, I have clients that I'm pouring into that are doing the same. And I have colleagues that are also wanting to be out here winning. And so iron sharpens iron. When I invest in myself, I get around people who also want to grow. Iron sharpens iron. Listen, you don't want to be in success by yourself. You want to look to your left, look to your right, and see some people that are willing to win with you. Listen, make each other better. Duplicate. When you're a champion, you want other champions around you. You want to be so organically connected with your own self and your own abilities and powers that other people are magnetized to that kind of energy. They're magnetized to that. They're like, listen, I had a tough day too, but when I saw my sister get on that stage and do her thing, regardless of what the technology was saying, hey, I want to do that too. Listen, Michael Jordan said that talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence wins championships. I'm going to say that again. Talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence wins championships. Listen, MJ said it best. I put my little spin on it. You got to decide, you got to do, and you got to duplicate. Listen, I challenge you. Yes, you. I challenge you to be an unapologetic champion. Even if you're like me, somebody who's an unlikely winner. But here I am on an international stage, sharing my heart and my passion with you. I challenge you to be an unapologetic champion every day. Follow me on social media, all your favorite platforms at C. Craig Mason. I thank you, Dr. Riz. I thank you for the time. I thank you for the opportunity. And I'm going to stay on this so I can continue to be fed, as they say. Hey, Riz.
Hey, amazing, amazing. You are giving us a challenge to think like a champion. And I was writing on the 3Ds: decide, do it, and duplicate it. And love the word of community and collaboration. This is amazing. People have been listening to a number of speakers, and everyone come up with different thought process, different experiences, and action step for others. And you made it very simplified in that, as a man thing he is. Love that thought, and respect to you, Dr. Constant. We've been a great journey of collaboration for many years now. And whenever I listen to you, I feel more rejuvenated, more aligned, and more energetic to thinking like a champion. And I'm sure a number of people who have just listened to you and will listen in future using these recordings is going to be in the awe of getting inspiration from you. Thank you so much, Dr. Constant.
Thank you. I'm rooting for y'all. Woohoo!
Yay! Well, yeah, we have learned a lot. We have listened a lot. We have a lot of written down notes. And I wanted to bring about a person who is behind all this learning, understanding, who is mentor of all. He is the pivotal person, I can say it with confidence, that you wanted to think about as a championship. This is the person who is his personality, his spiritual being, his existential journey is that what I want to receive from him, thinking like a champion. He's a validation of all those passions, encouragements of keeping doing things and driving us toward with all of alignment of energies and resources. This person is behind most of our inspiration and action. Please help me welcome the most respectful, the executive director of John Maxwell, the president of Worldwide Success Academy, the president of Learn to Grow Rich USA, and an amazing teacher, an inspiring speaker, and the most compassionate learner and mentor of all. Please help me welcome Dr. Fazl Mahmood. Dr. Faz, welcome.
Thank you, Rizwan. Thank you for such a great introduction. I truly respect your this introduction. Have you ever wondered what sets champions apart from the rest of us? What's the one thing you could start doing today to think, act more like a champion? Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor and pleasure for me to join this forum with such amazing speakers. And luckily, I have no privilege to be at the first or second. So because I am at the bottom, and I believe people are already listening great things about how to think like a champion. So let me start with the Simon Sinek. On a TED Talk, this was the highest seen, and I think that the most respectable TED Talk ever had. People, they still watch this TED Talk, which is years ago. He told us a really, really secret of that. And the secret was, if you know your why, what and how falls in its place automatically. So let's start from the why. Why we have to think like a champion. Make sense? So why do we have to think like a champion? So let me explain you. This is a universal law of sowing and reaping. Whatever you sow, that shall you reap. If you sow a thought, you reap an action. If you sow an action, you reap a habit. And if you sow a habit, you reap a character. And if you sow a character, you reap the destiny. But as you look back, it all starts from thoughts. So if you want to be a champion, you have to start from that thinking of a champion. Because you cannot win any contest, any competition, unless you don't win in your locker room. That's how you start thinking like a champion. How many of you have seen a horse race? I believe everyone, either in person or on television. Have you ever noticed at the finish line, most of the time, how apart the number 1 and number 2 horses are? They say by nose. But have you ever noticed the number 1 gets 10 times more than number 2? Do you think number 1 was 10 times better than number 2? Probably not, because it's just by a nose. So same thing happens in our personal life. You don't have to be 10 times charismatic, 10 times handsome, 10 times smart, 10 times educated, 10 times hardworking to become the champion. You have to just find the nose. Whatever you do in your life, find your nose. That will set you apart from the rest of the people. My friends, people, when they think as a champion, so let me tell you the difference from rest of the people. Because the losers always see pain and winners always see gain. Losers always say it is possible, but it is too difficult. But winners always say it is difficult, but it is possible. Success is always hard to come by and easy to live with. My friend, remember, failure is always easy to come and hard to live with. If you do not work for what you want, automatically the things which you do not want will take over. So always think like a champion, because that's what you are born for and that's what you are meant for. If we study all the winners, there's only and only one common thing among all. Did you notice what it was? They all took the first step, and the following all steps came across automatically. And after walking through the path for a while, they turned around and saw they were ahead of everyone. Did you take your first step yet? Are you ready to take that step yet? Taking the first step needs confidence in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. Think less and get in motion. Action generates motivation, and motivation leads to winning. Like one of the speakers said, a very great, all the speakers said awesome stuff, but one of them was talking about the practice. That if you practice, practice makes you perfect. I like that quote, but personally, I am not a big fan of that quote either. Because as we know, we all become to whatever we practice, because the practice makes you perfect. If you practice making mistakes, you will be perfect in making mistakes. So make sure your practice is for the right stuff and right thing. Let me tell you today, because we have a short time and it's been too late, It's so long now, and I know you guys are tired, but I'm going to squeeze the whole my talk today. Let me tell you the 7 steps. If you can adopt that, if you can learn that, or you can start that, you will start thinking like a champion. And that will take you to your success journey smoothly and safely. Are you ready to sow? So let's get it started. Number 1, always think your future is bigger than your past. Always. If you are not different than whatever you have done yesterday, it means you have wasted a nicest day of your life for nothing. So always think your future bigger than and better than your past. The second thing which I will suggest you, and which is my opinion, that always make your confidence greater than your comfort. Like Sadeka said that according to the John Maxwell, everything worthwhile is uphill. So if you're going to uphill, you have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to, maybe you have to walk, you have to run, you have to scroll, whatever it takes to be, you have to get it done. So get out of your comfort zone and always make your confidence bigger than your comfort. God made you with all power, and God made you the best of the best creation of in this universe. So you can do it. Always make your purpose greater than your money. People chase all their life for money, but they forget that money, name, and fame, all these are byproducts. Start working on the basics. So always work for your purpose. What is the purpose of your life? Because those are the 2 days you have the most important in your life: the day you were born and the day you find why you were born. That's your purpose. So always make your purpose greater than your money. The other fourth thing is always cherish your failures greater than your success, or rather than your success. Most of the time, people are scared because of the failure, but they forget the failure is the stepstone for your success. If you don't fail, it means you are not getting success regardless. So failure is the most important key factor getting your success part done. So fail often, fail fast, and fail forward so you can get closer to your success quicker and faster. Because when you fail, you learn a new lesson. Start learning that lesson from your failure. Failure is the key to success. Always try to learn out of that. Then always make your contribution bigger than your reward. Don't wait for your rewards. Again, it's a byproduct, it's a secondary thing. Like President John Kennedy said, don't think what country can do for you, what you can do for the country. Same thing in your life, what you can do for this world, rather than what God is going to do with you. God is going to do regardless, but you have to do first to your part. So always think your contribution bigger than your rewards. Always make your cooperation greater than your status. Unfortunately, this is another dilemma we have. Once we get status, we don't want to coordinate and we don't want to cooperate with people. We think that it's a privilege for us and people are going to come to us and cooperate with us. No, you have to get out of your comfort zone, like we said. You have to get out and make your cooperation greater than your status. And last but not the least, always make your gratitude greater than your success. Because success is not a destination, it's a journey. Whatever you get in your life, it's a milestone. As soon as you get there, you have another milestone to achieve. So make sure you have to be grateful whatever you have to move towards the next step. So always make your gratitude greater than your success. And when you adopt all these habits and these 7 steps, you will see your mindset will be quite different because it all starts from your mindset. So start thinking like a champion, start walking like a champion, start talking like a champion. You are the champ. You are the best, best of the best creation in this universe. God gave you all the abilities. So, what you're waiting for? Get out of your comfort zone. Let's make a resolution for yourself. Let's make a promise to all our team members. Let's be accountable with your friends and family and your these friends which we have today, these thought leaders, that we will be thinking like a champion. We are the champs, and we will make everything possible to be a champion. Thank you very much because of the time. I have to squeeze all my speech, but thank you very much, Rizwan, for such an awesome uh, comparing of this whole event. Uh, I'll, I enjoyed it really, and thank you very much, everyone, for joining me on this occasion and on this event. Hopefully, we will do a lot of other things together. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, Dr. Faz. I meet and learn from champions every day, not in just meet or webinars in businesses, but I have learned a lot from you as a champion and thinking about champion. And I am in awe every time when I hear about this nose analogy. This is such a powerful way of thinking how you can jump in to the driving seat of the winner mindset, champion mindset of becoming just one extra step, just one extra hour of work, just one extra learning, extra doing, extra action. And then your step by step of number of golden nuggets was amazing. Amazing, Dr. Faz. The one I'm taking today is thinking more gratitude bigger than your success, and this is going to make me more humble, more attuned, more in line what to be coming up next. Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much. We have one more speaker going to bring a whole new level of thought process, and I'm looking forward to listen to it. I know it's long, but you are given, I would say, years, if not decades, of experience and uh, loving thoughts of people who have living on their lives as a champion, who have encountered the struggles and reached out to success. Here they started from their bottom and right now at the top of the mountain, waving you on to become the next champion you are right now, and calling upon our next speaker, who is a serial entrepreneur, global business consultant, CEO of Cambridge Advisor Network. He's been assisting international organization, Chamber of Commerce and Industries, a passionate leader to becoming by helping people in entrepreneurial. You have seen him at most of the social media, very active. Currently, he's current president and chairman of Standing Committee of Innovation and Entrepreneurship in Pakistan. Right now, Federation of Pakistan Chambers of Commerce and Industry. Please help me welcome our best friend and an amazing speaker, an amazing thought process, Mr. Azhar Rizvi. Mr. Azhar Rizvi, over to you, sir.
Your mic is muted.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening from Pakistan. It's been a great learning evening for me, learning from some of the best speakers. So first of all, I'd like to thank Dr. Faz and Mr. Rizwan, Rashid Rizwan, for giving me the opportunity to first of all learning from all of them. A great learning, as I said, and now I will try to share my 2 bits with the august audience, but my talk is addressed to young entrepreneurs. And as I must say that whatever I've heard, like Mr. Jerry Hall talked about structure being the reason for success. Success is structural, not personal. Then Mr. Siraj Aziz spoke about championship is a team sport. For an individual person to rise up to the highest mountain, it requires teamwork. For any feat to perform, you need to work with a great team, and that is the essence of entrepreneurship. Sabika talked about your existence perceives, or your God's will exceeds your persistence. So exceeds your coming into being. So again, a great thought, and that's what I've learned in my journey of entrepreneurship, training around 100,000 students across the country and 500 companies. It's always what God thinks for you comes first. Then Harish Mehta Saab, you are a champion, a lot to learn from you, and Dr. Constant. So all in all the 10 speakers have given me a great insight, and I'll try to now shape my talk, which is the last, and all of you must be tired, so I'd like to be quick. So let's start with my talk. And my question to all aspiring entrepreneurs, that if they want to be 1% entrepreneurs who are considered to be champions in their own field, then I can only suggest, but they'll have to work on their own, suggest, or based on my 15 years of working with all these entrepreneurs, 9 steps that could help them becoming great entrepreneurs. But to start with, let me share 3 core differentiators. Number 1 is an entrepreneur chases after potential clients. So if you're an entrepreneur, you will be chasing clients. You have to get business. But a champion entrepreneur is chased by loyal clientele. And let me give you a few examples. Tony Robbins, Elon Musk, and even late Steve Jobs. He may not be alive today, but he is still considered to be a great asset for his clients and his customers. For an entrepreneur, you have to start a niche. You have to launch a business, a new area. But a champion entrepreneur may enter late, but he then becomes an expert. So in order to become an expert, you have to learn very hard, very fast, and carry on learning across your lifespan of being an entrepreneur. An ordinary entrepreneur, general entrepreneur fails 10 times. So a champion entrepreneur, you should be ready to fail at least 100 times. So let's start with the first trait that is needed to become a champion entrepreneur. You should have the passion to choose your industry. And the first question that you need to ask, are you passionate about the type of business that you want to pursue? This means, are you willing to do whatever it takes to succeed in your solving major problem? A major problem which is affecting a large market and has scalability. It should scale up to a big problem, a big solution, and a big market generating more revenues. Then, are you willing to take the risk? Anyone who would like to invest in your business would like to know whether are you bootstrapping, are you putting in your money with the skinners, or it's just borrowing money from your friends, family, or founders. First thing that you need to do is take the risk yourself, put in your money, and try to make it your love, make it a craft of your love, so that when people look at it, they can understand that yes, you have done a great job, and this will solve a problem because you are passionate about it. Only when people realize that you are passionate about it, they will be willing to invest in your venture. Now, second thing is that once you have acquired your passion, you know what you're doing, where you want to go, you have to now look at your customer needs. The customer needs, what are your customers? What is the lifeline of your business? If you didn't care about what they want, they surely won't care about from you, and they won't be buying it from you. So your marketing emphasis, the fact that your best solution provider will give you an access to many new companies, older companies which are already acquiring from your competitors. Most of the time, customers buy from friends to try to become their friends rather than their supplier of product services. Second point, the third point that is important is be an organized and develop a main system. As Gary Hall well said, that it has to have a structure. The structure wins. It has to be structural. If you don't have a structure in your business, you would never succeed. So by having a proper structure in your business, you will be able to develop proper systems, manual, franchise. Look at McDonald's. They became successful because they developed systems, they developed processes, but they were able to franchise to the rest of the world, and they were able to develop into a major conglomerate. Same goes for Walmart. Any big business which have succeeded, they had their own system developed, and that helped them to replicate it around the world. The fourth point is you must learn the art of delegation. As Siraj Ali Saab said, that it's a championship, is a team sport. You must know how to hire the best team, and the team that you hire should suffice the need of areas in which you lack. The people that you're hiring, they should be able to do better than you are. If you cannot hire people better than you are, then you would never succeed. Mark my word. Any company that I've seen growing, they have grown because once they hired a team and they were able to succeed in areas with the founder. I'll tell you a story. A company that came to a MIT competition, they won the competition. They went to MIT, did the roadshow, got the funding, but they were not able to progress as well as they were. So we had to convince the founder to step down. We hired a new founder for them from the United States, a person who sold his company for $100 million. He came on board, and as soon as he came on board, in 1 year, that company, which was less than $1 million, became a $10 million business. Because with him, he came with all the systems, his Rolodex, his contacts, and that company grew. It is now worth $150 million out of Lahore, doing very well in only 10 years, doing well in Pakistan by our standards. So you must be able to hire the best people on board so that you can succeed. Your company should succeed. Now, the fifth point is promoting yourself positively in a very subtle manner. I did that by joining Rotary. I came to Pakistan after my studies, learned a lot of volunteer work, going to University of Houston School, seeing my teachers working as a volunteer, and I came back, and I'm a Rotarian for the past 27 years. Then I also am a Lion Club member. And now I am at the age of 61, I am joining Toastmaster based on the advice of my dear friend Dr. Faiz. There is no stoppage. If you want to succeed in life, you have to keep on excelling, keep on working hard. And to young aspiring entrepreneurs, I would suggest to join these clubs, Rotary clubs, JCs. There are tons of these in Pakistan. I'm talking to my friends in Pakistan. Across the world, these organizations are there. Become a member. So what it would do is it would teach you the necessity and the problem at the bottom of the pyramid. The lowest of the lowest people living in abject poverty, they have major problems. And those problems, when they are properly looked at and developed into solutions, provide tremendous opportunity for companies coming from our part of the world to grow into bigger companies. Look at India, look at Bangladesh, Vietnam, China. They're all starting off from abject poverty, and today they are $1 trillion economy, challenging the bigger, mightier institutions and economies of the world. So, in a very subtle way, I would say start joining these organizations, young aspiring entrepreneurs, be a part of them, start going to the club meetings, meet people. It will help you two ways. One, it will get you mentorship, it will get you coaching, and it will also help you in developing into the required personality or persona which is needed by you first of all, and your organization and your team to take you forward. The sixth point I'd like to make here is A plan is useless without proper execution. And I think it was Sadhika and Dr. Constant both emphasized on that you must have a plan, but you need to know how to execute it. If you don't know how to execute your plan, it can be a great PowerPoint or a Microsoft Word or any presentation or Excel sheets, but unless you don't know how to implement it, you can't do it. And for that, as one of the speakers suggested, that get some mentors on board, get some advisors on board, get some domain experts on board. You may have to give away some stake, give 2% stake, 3% stake, whatever they feel that is good for their services. They are not coming in for making money only. A person like me, or a person like Dr. Faz, when they go into an organization, we go to help that organization to grow because we have played our inning. Now you want to help the younger entrepreneurs. So younger entrepreneurs should be ready to give their stake into their company. That would help them to understand the value of systems. They'll get contacts. They'll be able to develop themselves on professional lines, and moving forward, they can come up to become great companies in the world. The seventh point is differentiate your business. And why would a company want to buy from you, not from your competitor? And that's where you need to understand the value of value proposition. Generally, people think that value proposition is only comparing the prices. Value proposition is more than comparing prices. It's a lot of things. They need to know how is your quality of product. Do you offer long service hours? Are you more flexible in payment options? So many things that they look at you, and you need to work on developing a value proposition based on 8 to 10 key areas of doing business. Because you may think that they're all looking for price, but you have to understand they are looking at so many things. So market your business in a way that your customer would notice. It is by emphasizing benefit the customer can receive. If you're selling if you're selling various products, you must understand the value proposition for the customer. Suppose they accept. So basically, you must differentiate your business by sharing the best of your product, services, quality, service options, pricing options, so that they can decide and do business with you. The eighth and the most important point is be a man of your word. Don't just try to get business for the sake of getting business. Don't agree on everything. This is where we fail. Generally, I've seen companies failing because they try to offer everything under the sun and they can't deliver. Mostly done by the marketing and sales team. That's where teamwork's coming. Your pre-sales team should go in, analyze, look at the problem, and then come back and work with them, with your sales team, to offer the best possible solution. So just understand that your client is also working with deepest insecurities. And if you are able to answer them by offering the right solution and being honest with them, that will definitely define you as a man of word. It will help you develop a long-term relationship and do a great business in the long run. The last option is that it's a long road, and make sure that you enjoy it. Being a champion entrepreneur means that you lead a life balanced enough to be able to work on personal and professional interests at the same time. Don't get too much caught up in business and struggle. You have to give some time to your family, to your friends, to your own personal development. Work on yourself more than you work on your business. That's the key that I have learned after 40 years of my hard work with various organizations and running businesses and training people. And that's what I preach now. Work on yourself, develop yourself by learning from these great speakers that you heard today. So I wish you all a long and fun way ahead of you, and good luck for champions. Thank you very much. Thank you, Rizwan, for giving me the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rizvi, and what an awesome tips you gave us as an entrepreneur and be a champion. And you reminded me, my friend Shiv Khera's that line. He said about success, that success, but I will turn that code into champion. That champion don't do different things; they do things differently. That's all it needs. So we can change our mindset, and then we can be the champion. Uh, Thank you. I appreciate all of you and your time, but let me introduce now the person who was running this show, and I believe you all liked him. And he is a truly helping hand for everyone, and especially for myself. He's my younger brother. He's an awesome coach, trainer, speaker, TEDx speaker. He's a Toastmaster. He has a lot of hats on his head. And what should I tell about him? He's such an awesome person. Uh, we met in this COVID days online, and then we met in person in Lahore and Islamabad, and I spent a quality time with him. And he is an amazing personality and leader to hang out with. And he has such an amazing knowledge to learn from. So please help me welcome a very well-known person in this room right now, and he's the best person to deal with. Please help me welcome my dear brother, friend, and a partner, and a great speaker, and a coach, and a trainer, Mr. Rizwan Rashid.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Faz. I appreciate you for giving this. I know the time is essence, and we have more time given to all of our audience. And I wanted to conclude with the short story that hopefully connect with people's minds and action step what they wanted to take. About a decade ago, my friend convinced me to experience the movie Avatar in 3D. I know I'm talking about the 3D movie Avatar now because they just released a newer version. So when we were entering the Cineplex theater, the theater employee handed me a flimsy, cheap, ugly-looking glasses. We sat on our seats and movie began. Everything was blurry. I can hear it, but I can't see it clearly. I was getting perplexed and angry for overpaying this hype movie, which isn't a good quality in my idea, until my friend nudged me to wear the glasses, which I did begrudgingly. And immediately I said, I can see, I can see. I screamed louder than required. Shh. My friend said, you guessed it right. It was my first 3D experience. Suddenly, the Natri shoots an arrow at me. Natri, the girl in the heroine, she shoots an arrow. And I felt like a bird in my left shoulder. Ouch! I said. I turned my head to look and expecting blood gushing out of my shoulder. And despite the fact it was my friend Doug who was tapping on my shoulder to hand on some more popcorns. Well, despite all the critics talking about the movie and its outcome, I fall in love with these 3D glasses. Amazing. And of course, the movie, right? Jake, the disabled Marine at that time who is playing the hero part, he did something amazing. And that's what it reminded me from today's conference about thinking as a champion, because he stood out as a hero, as a champion. So I can relate to that. He believed in the Navi tribe destiny of having sacred land to themselves. So that was his first D. I know my sister, Dr. Constance, said it amazing 3D, and I wanted to continue in that aspect of it, that 3D. So he believed in the destiny of Navi tribe to stay in that zone. And what he did, the second D, he decided that he's going to help them, the Navi clan, to remain in contact with them. And number 3, he actually remained determined to reach that destiny and stay true to his decision, even if after his own species in this movie as human came against him, and he stood tall in making and saving the Pandora, the sacred tribe, and their tree in it. And I love the fact when he, in a scene, he jumped from high sky to capture Turok, a dragon feared and honored by Navi tribe that had no one has even captured him. And that, my friend, taking me to thinking as a champion. These 3D glasses, they look cheap, they look funny, flimsy, but giving me a lesson of, destiny, decision, and determination. And today, I'm only going to leave you with this, that when business leaders, professionals, and go-getters and entrepreneurs are faced with making decisions, sometimes tough decisions that are complicated, have serious ramifications, these leaders, these leadership involve managing people, the most effective leaders doing it with a determination in a challenging environment while keeping the team going forward, showing them what is the destiny, and that destiny bring focus and intensity. So 3Ds are commonly exercised skills that most effective, result-oriented, team building, and forward thinking as a champion. And folks, I can talk all about the decisions and how to stay determined and how to find your destiny, but our esteemed folks have given you enough content to ponder, to go over some more thoughts process. But I'll say one word for the decision, and the decision, one word in this infobesity era. It's hard to make decisions these days. So folks, figure it out your destiny first, whatever the destiny is. Some people have talked about purpose. Some people talk about goals, dreams. All this narrow down is the destiny you want to go there. Like Jake is looking at the destiny of their tribe and living in that sacred moment. Is that your destiny? Is that money, fame, name is your destiny? Is sacrifice for other people, satisfaction, gratification for humanity is your destination? Is living beyond your imagination is your destiny? And when you make the destiny, make the real decision, the decision that promise to yourself that this is who I will be. I stand tall in it. I promise myself that I'm going to hold myself to that decision. And when you hold down that decision deep down, you feel you are unstoppable. You are a champion. You will think like a champion. You will become that champion. And most people say, how do you talk about determination? So when you find your destiny and you become that person who have made that decision, the determination come in 4 ways or 4 reasons why it's important to you. Number 1, determination helps you overcome the unexpected. When we go through those ways, which is unknown territory, where we have never have seen, those uncharted territories where we have never experienced, our life experience, our skill set, our education, they have never led us to new destiny. We're going to come to uncharted territories. That determination will overcome you through the unexpected one. You won't give away or give up on the menial and mundane things which will come across. The determination will keep you focused, laser focused on your destiny. You will stay aligned to and true to your decision and aligned to your destiny. The determination is fed by encouragement and support. A lot of speakers talk about it. Surround yourself with champion. And this is where determination need those champion to you, is because it is fed by encouragement and support. And when you are getting some encouragement and support, your determination levels, your determination tank remains full. And determination makes you dig deep down. Your determination will dig deep down, because those are the path that value and meaning for you. You know that's the right path. You keep it going because you have known that this is the destiny. This is the promise I'm going to keep. This is the decision I have done. And this is the determination I need. When you become that 3D flimsy, my friend, the world was not seeing. You are seeing the world in a glimsy way. You can't see it right. Your purpose is not clear. You are not clear in your destiny. Wear those 3D glasses and voila, you become thinking like a champion. My friends, that championship is within you. And I want you to think as a champion right from the get-go. And I will conclude this whole summit that 5 ways to think like a champion is: number 1, champion always expect to win. Read my lips. Champion always expect to win. When they walk on the court, on the field, on the meeting, in the classroom, in their business, they expect to win. There is no other way. Number 2, champions celebrate the small wins. It's not the destiny, but the wins along the way. Every 1,000 miles starts with first step. So number 2, celebrate those small wins if you want to be the champion. Number 3, champions don't make excuses when they don't win. They learn. Champions don't make excuses when they don't win. They learn. Number 4, champion focus on what they got to do, not what they have to do. Champions focus on what they get to do, not have to do. Get to do is my decision to do it. Have to do is my slavery, that I have to do it because somebody else told me. Champions don't think that way. And number 5, champions believe they experience more win in the future. They believe that they will experience in there. This is the mindset everybody's talking about. Stephen Covey said, one in your mind and then in reality. And my friend, if you are that champion, if you wanted to be the champion, if you want to think of it like a champion, start thinking there are wins in your path toward your destiny. So my friend, 3Ds is, to me, is a thing to do, is to give a gift to you, to start thinking like a champion. This summit has been amazing, and I'm loving the fact that we have given a lot of golden nuggets to everyone. And I conclude this summit with this amazing thought that you are the champion. And I'm going to call upon Dr. Faz to say final few words to we can close this for amazing and evergreen summit going on. Dr. Faz.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Rizwan, and thanks for your final golden nuggets, which you gave us. And that 3D was an amazing. And obviously, you are a great speaker. We always look towards you, and we always learn from you all the time. And that was an amazing. Thank you very much for that. And at the end, I would like to thank every single speaker tonight who, because it's night in Pakistan, India, and other countries, but here it's this afternoon, for joining this 2023 Global Summit. It was truly an honor and pleasure for me to host this, and I believe the audiences from different platforms I see everybody was watching us, and they are going to watch in future too these videos. And obviously, it was just an amazing experience. Thank you very much for your help and your cooperation. I know there were a couple, you can say, hiccups in technical side with Sadika especially. We were struggling, and also same thing happened with Dr. Constance and other friends. But you know, this is part of the game. And from the school where I was grown up, we never had this because we never had a computer. We never had a calculator even. So I'm from that old school, and obviously we are learning with the passage of time. But hopefully you all enjoyed this, and I believe we can work together in future too. And we are going to have a better and bigger conference very soon after a couple months, hopefully. And please feel free to give your feedback and get connected with each other, please. This team, the speakers, please get connected on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever social media you use. I mean, we have to get connected with each other. And please feel free, if any of our listener or viewer who wants to get connected with any of these speakers, and if you have a problem, please reach out to me. I will connect you two with them, because I have now all their emails and everything, and I mean, I can get you connected with them. So feel free to reach out to me or my entire team of Learn to Grow Rich USA. And I want to thank you for another team member, Coach Sajjad Khan, who was supposed to speak, but because of the time constraint, we couldn't manage it. But he is also a main player in our team to get this things running and all that. So thank you very much, Sajjad. Thank you, Rizwan. Thank you, Harish. I truly appreciate your cooperation. Dr. Nafis, thank you very much. Thank you, Jerry. It was a pleasure to have you here. Thank you, Mr. Rizvi. You are awesome. Dr. Constance, you are a great person, and it was the first time I was here listening to you, and it was an amazing. And Mr. Sirajuddin Aziz, I heard him a couple times before, and I knew he is going to blow up everybody's mind, and he's such a great speaker. Thanks for having you here, and thank you, Sajjad, for staying with us and helping me for the other problems. So thank you very much. I appreciate your help, and with this, we will sign out. Thank you very much, and have a blessed day, and Khuda Hafiz. Thank you.